Come on, buddy.
Better leave it to the professional.
Last bite on me, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been golden when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like the Brown James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. The field's not falling for the FOMO. Listening to coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum entities. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out
Started
to
off with a
40.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Freaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in shoes. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, mighty, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. Had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the ride with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain GM. Thanks so much for joining us. If you haven't done so, do us a favor, drop us a GM in the chat down below, then head up top, smash that like, repost, and bookmark on today's space. We greatly appreciate it. Warms up the algo and does us a real solid. You'll also find up there linked the YouTube chat. Solomon beat Von Frunten today. Good game. GM. Von Frunten was number 2. These two are battling it out. It's like for Mel's domination in the spaces chat, it has become maybe like Mel's pretty much like locked in number 1 for life. Like she's not been first every day, but it's probably like 80% of the time she's been the number 1 chatter. I think YouTube chat is now becoming like 50-50. It's a Von Frunten Solomon 2-man race over there for now. So go hit them up over there. If you haven't yet liked and subscribed to our YouTube, we greatly appreciate it. We both need to do a better job of promoting our guy Payne, who is maybe the most underrated producer in all of crypto and Web3. The guy is just nonstop, never complains, just does the thing without having to be told. And yeah, we've got not only 200, 200's next stop. We are racing a preteen, Son Frunten, and front. What are we?
I think he is a teen now. I think he is 13. So it makes me feel better.
Or Von Sutton. What are we doing? Son Frunten or Von Sutton?
I like Von Sutton better because the rhyme fits a little better. So Von Sutton maybe.
Von Frunten. What do you think?
Or we could just be like really bad. So like real quick on as a digression.
We'll honor his request. He did give him his U.S. government.
Or we
name.
just say like Son Von Frunten with it right there. Like we're
what about this? What about Von Frunten II? Von Frunten Jr.? Do we have a junior, the first ever junior in crypto content creation?
We need to so Skip Bayless, when he was upset at Antonio Brown one time, do you remember this? He goes, he's like another ridiculous move by Clown Tonio Brown. And I'm like, Antonio Clown was there for the taking. And you said Clown Tonio Brown, but Antonio Clown was there for the taking. But you went Clown Tonio Brown.
It just makes me miss. You know who would have not? I know you're going to know the answer. You know who would have not fumbled that? You know who would have nailed that one?
No, who?
R.I.P.
Who?
Rest in peace.
What, Stuart Scott or something?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
Right. Like, there's no chance he would have fumbled that one. He was the GOAT as far as just witty and not even like witty stuff. Like him and Chris Berman, I think were like maybe the two best to ever do it in terms of new, fun, entertaining catchphrases that just made you laugh. It added entertainment like we haven't seen since from a commentator. What did you even call him? Not a commentator. What were they? What is Berman and at their core? Like analyst? I don't know. They're more than that. What?
Yeah, I mean they were like commentators, but like the thing about them was so crazy story. Did you know that like ESPN they had to like sneak that in because ESPN tried to push them down? They used to tell Dan Patrick. Yeah, Dan Patrick was on an interview last week saying like these
didn't kill it. It was literally the best part of SportsCenter. It's what made SportsCenter great.
Yeah, they said we don't need another Berman. They used to say to Dan Patrick.
Jeez. Well, good on them for powering through and not listening to the suits because, and you know what? Like I think like we don't see this stuff anymore, and I can't tell you the last time I watched SportsCenter. I really have no idea. It's been years. It would probably been like I was in a hotel sometime and we just like getting ready in the morning. I had it on the background maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, because people used to tune in to see the highlights, and now because you get the highlights on Twitter, people tune in to hear what you think about the highlights. Like people get mad at like Stephen A. Smith and these big shows, but like that's the only option. The reason that's big is like you might know the score of, a baseball game, but you don't know how it got there, or a basketball game, and they would be able to give it to you first. And so, but it is funny that like the bosses who take credit for SportsCenter and things used to tell Dan Patrick, we don't need another Berman, don't do that. And now they have their catchphrases on the wall, right? If you go to the ESPN headquarters, it has like whatever their top catchphrase were on the wall with a picture of them. And so it's those cultural moments, but like, yeah, it's like now people want to hear them talk about sports because you don't need it anymore. You can get sports in real time and highlights in real time. I cut you off. I don't even know if you did the full intro, and we even did GMs. We just came out.
I'm excited, man. You can tell it's a full-on raging bull because we can't even get through a proper introduction. We are so freaking back, man. It is like let me finish the intro and then let's get into it. We got a lot actually to get into today. Crazy news weekend. We got a special guest at 9 that I need to do a little bit of back end logistics for real quick. And wow, we actually had another guest. We had to punt till tomorrow just because like too much news to get through today. So I probably shouldn't cold open too much longer. But as always, I'm Captain, my co-host Steve. Never any financial advice in the show. Crypto is risky, NFTs risky. Unicorn is exceptionally risky, and go to zero at a moment's notice. Except right now, it's full risk on. Just shove all the chips in, ratchet up the lever bar. I kid, but I just did it this morning, so I'm just sharing my personal journey here. Not financial advice. Crypto is risky. Just now, don't be sidelined during this. Have some fun if you're here. That's probably misery as being on the sideline throughout a full bull. Anyways, appreciate y'all being here. I fumbled the intro already. I don't even know what I've forgotten, but I'm sure there's something I need to get in. Just join us for the fun, the information, and education along the way. We'll definitely talk a little more markets here. We'll hit a market update, but buckle up because I truly believe. See, I think you got another shot. I do. Everything in my bones tells me, like, like Steve and myself both had an opportunity to. I don't know exactly, but
be millionaires.
I've been there. It was multi-millions last cycle, and I definitely didn't. It's definitely not multi-millions now. The thought of like, oh, it's over. Like it's just going to be like progressive up now. Like the opportunity to go in and really hit like 1,000Xs in a cycle. We missed it. I don't think so. I think someone said like they got the feeling. I think it was Apewood said he felt like it was like summer fall of 2020 is where we're at. I think so too. I think like worst case scenario, I feel like it's like January Top Shot moment. And I actually think this weekend could have been, if it wasn't, I think we would have seen. I don't think we would have saw what we saw this weekend following the pump fund sale. Like that could have been a massive liquidity suck that marked the top. Clearly wasn't. We plowed right through it like it wasn't even a speed bump. $600 million left the ecosystem and it didn't even leave a blimp. Like things are just truly not even a speed bump. It was eaten up faster than wrecked the wrecked world domination eats up a Binance alpha drop. Insane, by the way. We need to talk about that too.
I have my list. That's funny. That was a witty
feeling it today, man. I'm telling you.
That was a witty analogy. You're on a heater. You're in a heater, Cap. Look, I'm feeling good too in a lot of reasons.
7 days a week. We have to be maybe we alternate Saturdays and Sundays and just go full 7 days a week during the bowl.
Dude, I'm
kind of serious.
I had a thought. I think first of all, give us a like or retweet a comment on the room. Appreciate everybody who's out there. I know we came in hot this morning. GM to everybody in the abstract chat. Rocky, appreciate the tip this morning. Always appreciated. Diablito, Buching, Machiavelli, always out there. Thomas, good to see you out there. Von Frunton, feeling the same things I'm feeling. ESPN drives 4 stories. LA, New York City, LeBron. Yeah, it's like it'll be like Caitlin Clark just had a huge game against Paige Buchers. What does this mean for LeBron re-signing in LA? Let's debate. Teacher Katie in all the chats, appreciate you. Always appreciate. Good seeing our guy Bordo Saka out there. Like you said, Solomon is coming for Von Frunton's crown, which I actually like because I think Solomon and Von Frunton are like handshake emoji. Like it seems like they're like simpatico. It's not like crazy there. Mel, obviously the queen and undisputed champion of the GMs in the actual Twitter space chat or X space chat. FFV always out there in the morning. FFV just crushing the game. It's FFV's world. We're all just living in it. Dobbins, love the saw. Mel, you did not fumble. The dog needs you. You were on my Bitcoin poll this morning. Joey Vowels, love seeing you out there. Joey Vowels, is Joey Vowels on Ethos yet? Joey Vowels, are you on Ethos yet? If Joey Vowels is on Ethos yet, I don't like that Joey Vowels has 1190 as a reputation on Ethos, and I think I have an invite with your name on it if you're not. Well, you're muted. Ooh, I got no sound from you, Cap. Do people have sound from me? Or are we completely quiet? Hopefully people can hear me. Cap can hear me. I can't hear Cap. I don't think it's on my end. Try one more time. Make me make sure it wasn't on mine and I'm muted. Wait, now I hear sound.
Check.
Yeah, good. Got it. All right, cool. Joey Vowels, if
we need to fix that. Yeah, we'd love the YouTube likes and subscribes, but yeah, if we can get Joey in there, let's make that our call to action today. Everyone can pour in and give Joey a good review on Ethos. He deserves better than that. He should not be below the nose line.
Yeah, Joey, let me know if you're not on Ethos. If you are on Ethos, great. I want to go give you a review. I can't remember if I already did. Maybe I already did. I will vouch for you with my hard-earned ETH and my on my base ETH. If you are not on Ethos, Joey, let me know so I can get you an invite. I believe I have one. But yeah, man. Go ahead.
Real quick, shout out to Rocky. I'm pretty sure Rocky is become our number one tipper, probably for both of us. Just threw another $5 USDC at you. Not giving up that sweet Pingu. I'm old enough, Steve, to remember a time where 69 Pingu wasn't even 69 cents. Do you know what it was this morning?
Well, I couldn't even. I mean, it's got to be like close to $1, right?
Higher.
Dude, I checked my Abstract Global wallet and I actually was like almost uncomfortable feeling like I needed to sell. I don't want to because we're going to talk about this. I don't want to get in front of it, but where I'm putting money, where you're putting money, what we're doing this cycle, because like now, I don't want
$2. To go. Almost $2, Steve. I just sent 69. I think it was $1.97. Maybe it went down a cent, but almost $2 now. This has happened in like weeks. Like, hasn't even been a month. $2 is fun. I agree. It happens so fast. And I sent out this list, like, I'll retweet it this morning to tell everyone, hey, you're not late. You're still early. Back to my earlier point. Like, I feel like I sent this list like a few weeks ago. By no means was it early to any of those. I just called like 6, what I feel like established. Like the only one that's still like maybe not considered established would be Billy Betts. All the others are pretty much like, you get the consensus. Yeah, these are bullish, good conviction plays. So it's not even like fringe alpha calls or anything. All 6 of them are up. Most of them, not all, but the portfolio will be up huge since a few weeks ago. Some of them are up, just absolutely have ripped since then. And this isn't like look at me. It's more so like that was early, and I believe we're still early. Like, I think it's, I don't know. I think like worst case scenario, we're just entering January of 2021 relative to the last cycle. And like, if so, these mildly euphoric feelings we've had for the last few days, last week, maybe buckle up, because it's like, it can last for like 6 months, maybe longer. You know, there's something crazy that happens. It just like, it doesn't last forever. Yes, I agree. Maybe I'm completely wrong, and this is the Pico top, and we're peak euphoria. I really don't think so. And so back to my earlier point is, I think you got another shot, buddy. I think we all have a shot. I think we're here. Like, I don't know what it's going to be, but like, think about the stuff we have. Like, Mega ETH hasn't even launched yet. That could be massive. Like, there's so many things that have been being built. Think agents we're excited about. There's so much happening right now that is being built. And I honestly, like, I was feeling it last week, feeling pretty bullish last week. I was mildly cautious, or like, I was like checking my optimism going into the pump fund sale, because I really didn't know what impact that was going to have. And the fact that we just powered through it and just ripped throughout the weekend into today, I've been saying for months, maybe a year now, that I felt there was some like magnet to 100K. And once we broke out, I don't know, maybe this is not right, but I feel this. I think we're just in price discovery. I think 120, maybe 125, it's distancing itself far enough from 100K, where all the normies who thought they were late at 100K are like, well, shit, I wasn't late at 100K. I'd be up 20% by now. That's huge in their minds. And like, if these crazy guys are right, and this stuff actually goes to $1 million, I'm really early. I'm almost as early now as I would have been at 100K. Maybe the thesis doesn't hold. I think we hit an area where, man, I think we might see a day where the thing just rips and really melts faces, like a 120 to 140 type day. I know it sounds crazy, but I think it's in range.
I like a couple things. I know we talked about this last week at one point, but the fact that the cardboard market's ripping is super interesting, because I had
it's everywhere.
I had a non-scam DM that bought 2 Pokemon cards from me on BZ now, if I had redeemed them, sold them on eBay, went through the whole 9 yards, found the right buyer, I probably could have sold these things for like $200 each, which is crazy to say about a Pokemon cards. I bought these for significantly less. This person gave me like the offer of $330 for both. And this is, by the way the blockchain works very seamlessly in perfect buy-sell side. And this is also bullish on BZ in general. So I got a DM. I was trying to make sure it wasn't a scam DM.
With nearly zero friction. I mean, relative to the other experience you described, could you made like, so you made $330 instead of $400. Dude, I bet it costs you close to $70 in fees and shipping and all that once it's all said and done. That's maybe a little bit of exaggeration, but it's like, it's definitely not $70 difference. It's maybe like a $30 difference. And you value your hour of time it would tip to pick, pack, and ship. Like, you're ahead.
This is also like you want to talk about a blockchain is awesome moment and what eBay needs to go to. Like, eBay, like, this is my man, if I knew anybody at eBay right now, I'd be like, you should go acquire BZ tomorrow with the money. Tomorrow. Or Amazon or anybody. Because the fact of the matter is,
to take over the auction market from eBay. Like, this is how they do it. Like, if eBay gets disrupted, I'm 100% convinced, if eBay gets disrupted, that's a big if they do, and someone overtakes material market share or overtakes their lead in the consumer peer-to-peer auctions, it's going to be an on-chain component. It's just better. It is just better. You can't convince me otherwise. It's far better. And if eBay doesn't adopt it, I think this is their biggest threat to their business.
Okay, so there's a couple things here. I want to go down all these discussions because I'm feeling energized this morning. I also think I figured out.
Rest in peace to those that sold in May, by the way.
Yeah. By the way, B Epic, thanks for the tip. Appreciate you, my man, as always. That's actually what reminded me of the BZ thing, because B Epic is, we've done some BZ giveaways, and B Epic's one of our big winners. So I pulled a couple of cards from boxes, or bought a couple of cards in secondary with my kids that were worth less than $330 when I bought them. And now they're probably worth $200 each. And somebody DM'd me and said, like, look, I'll send the USDC, give me your address, because the nice part about being a semi-public figure who is known for being, like, one time there was a debate that a couple of people were having on a space of who you would trust with their seed phrase, and I was the person they came up with. And so, like, the nice part about being that person is people will send me the money first. So they sent me the $330 USDC. I sent them the cards to their BZ wallet. It worked seamlessly. The fact of they instead of buying it on BZ from me and me having to go through offers and is this real or not. I gave them my ETH wallet. They sent me the USDC. I sent it directly to their to their wallet on BZ on the account. But it's like the frictionless nature of that versus, like, to your point, redeeming, eBay, the whole 9 yards. That's it. Like, that transaction was like, I'm okay if that person wants to redeem the cards and flip it and make an extra $50 or collect it. I'm also okay with like losing that money because of how simple it was for me to be liquid. And the liquidity of markets is what these markets do. So agree with that. To go on Cap's point, and we'll get to some of the news of the day. Obviously, Pump, give us a like or retweet a comment on the room. Pump presale sells out $500 million in 12 minutes. Pengu rips. We talked about that a little bit. Bitcoin above 100K. We're talking about it. I have a poll. Will it ever be below 100K again? So what Cap was talking about, and I think it's worth diving into, is last market NFTs were a free money glitch. You minted 3, you sold 1 for a profit. You sold one immediately to make your money back, sold 1 for a profit, held 1, maybe sold that one too, whatever it was. Like, it was a free money glitch. In meme coins, which I didn't get into, even if they were scammy, like watching some of those streamers who maybe got the early tips on them, you bought when they bought, you sold, it was a free money glitch to a degree, right? It was a little tougher. What I was saying over the weekend is, I'm not like beating myself up over it because I'm a big believer in, L's for learnings, not loss. Like, you learn, you learn on your failures, you own them. And there's certain things that I don't regret selling, like Bored Apes. They were printing, done a lot for me, love the club. But there's certain things I should have sold. My Gutter Cat, my Pixel Vault stuff when it got too complicated. I knew it. And I did sell some Pixel Vault stuff, but not enough. And I was making the commentary of like, look, like, I'm okay with, I had some great experiences, but like, I missed the opportunity to have significant wealth by being early in the crypto market. Because it seems like now to me, the cycle is traditional finance. And so it's like, my Bitcoin ETF, that's great. I have Bitcoin, but probably not as much as I should at this point. If I DCA'd from the time when I discovered Bitcoin in 2016, I wouldn't even be here. I see ETH pulling up, but I don't know how much ETH's going to rip, right? And certainly not Jenny Wealth based on what I'm having. So I was kind of saying, like, I feel like I missed. And I know you're saying I didn't. I'm trying to figure out, like, I feel really good about Pengu right now. I feel really good about Rect right now. I put more money into Rect than I have put into a coin in a very, very long time. That's not like a sort of Coinbase traded cryptocurrency, like ETH, Sol, whatever. Like, basically more than that put into not a non-major in a while, which isn't a lot for me, but it's something. And I might put more. So I guess that's where I'm placing my bets. But when you say, like, you don't think you missed, what do you think silly season is? So I've sold a lot of my NFTs because needed the money, didn't want to hold them, weren't bringing me joy. Some of those have even gone up. Even Doodles ripped, right? So, like, where do you think it's coming from? Like, what do you think the play is going to be this cycle? Because I don't think these TGEs are going to print for anybody. Like, they're not going to be major prints. So, like, when you say, like, I don't think it's over, we're early, if it's just Bitcoin ETFs and stuff, that's great, but that's like 10 years, 5 years, whatever that is, right? So what is your... Now, again, I'll say this, like, I'm considering making a big bet on Rect. I'm considering making an even bigger bet on Pengu. Probably not, because I'm pretty well allocated there from, like, the airdrop and everything. But what is your mindset on this when you say you think we are... Because what do you think the free money glitch is this cycle, I guess? Or what do you think it's going to be? Because this is the part that I'm struggling with.
I don't know. Just like I didn't know Bored Apes and PFP NFTs were going to be a thing in January 21. I think that's where we're at. I don't think we've seen it yet. I really don't. And so I'm going to be open to what could be next, right? Like, I don't think it's like, will memes keep printing? Will the ones we've all talked about, will they keep going up for a while? Yeah, I think so. But I actually think, I think things are really just starting to heat up. And I do believe there's been a lot of people building. I referenced a few earlier that have been building for years and haven't shipped yet. Now's the time. You also have to think, like, we potentially have some of the biggest semis in crypto history ahead of us. Like, if OpenSea isn't greedy, that should be a massive liquidity pump into the ETH ecosystem primarily, right? Like, there's several of those. Like, OpenSea is not the only one. I think we're like, okay, so also I should forewarn everyone. I've been finally green pilled. I'm entering my, not only my hyper liquid bull season, I'm entering my capped back up in the levered streets. And quite frankly, like this is how I built my portfolio last cycle. I levered up, did a good trade, paid it off, rinsed, repeat. You know, I kept going back for more and rinse, repeat. So now I'm now like this is where I'm getting like I haven't been trading throughout the entire time. Yeah, but not really. Not like I was locked in 21, 22. Like from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed, I had my eyes on things. I've not been like that. I've just been more like making bets, not day trading. I think now and I'm not saying everyone should start day trade. I'm not saying everyone should lever up. And if you're going to do it, do so responsibly. Know what you're doing, know your risk. Don't go all in, don't full port stuff. Just, I think there's those ecosystems alone. Hyper EVM. We have Project X, I think drops today at 10 o'clock. I sent over fresh. Actually, Steve, I pumped in like true fresh fiat into crypto over the weekend for the first time in a while, like a decent sized bag, because I didn't want to sell off anything else. I like my positions and I didn't want to rotate out. And so I actually moved some fresh fiat into onto hype over the weekend. And I split it up. I've got some perps, I've got some spot. Well, actually no spot yet, just all perps. And I want to have fresh capital over there for whatever happens on this Project X. That's just really like, I mean, there's other things that have happened over there, but I think we could see a lift off on projects, protocols, dApps, things being built on hype, things being built on Mega ETH. Like those are the two that are on my top of my list. You also have things like Monad and several others that just like they've been building these ecosystems, these networks have been building for years, and they're getting ready now, dropping what appears to be a full-on bull. Like things could get silly. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't think it's particularly going to be NFTs. I don't think it's particularly going to be memes. Maybe it is. Like I think there'll be opportunities in both of those, but I think it's just you're gonna have to be still selective, picking and choose your spots, really betting on quality over quantity. I just think there could be some unlock, something that we haven't necessarily seen yet. Dude, for all I know, maybe it is what you just described. Maybe the entire, we have some major event happens and the entire traditional cardboard collecting space floods in again. And things like, 90% of Pokemon transactions take place on chain. I don't think that's actually going to happen, but I'm just like, I don't know is my point. But like, if you think back, like how many people knew DeFi summer was going to happen before DeFi summer happened? How many people knew NFT summer was going to happen before NFT summer happened? How many people knew meme coin season was going to happen? Like, I'm sure there was a few that saw it at the very early stages, but before the first one dropped, maybe the teams building it were excited and had convictions of what they were building. Like, I think this space innovates at a crazy clip. And what I'm looking for is what might be next to create that generational wealth type opportunity on chain. And I don't think that type of thing happens like in the depths of a bear. I think now, because of so much liquidity, because of so much things pumping, because of attention flowing back in the space, I think that creates a much greater environment to catch that lightning in a bottle, so to speak.
I hope so. I feel like right now, like I don't know, like part of me feels like, and again, this is not trying to be a negative Nelly, like it's just trying to figure out like, is this just the one where traditional finance comes in and secures the bag? I guess is the thing that I'm worried about, versus is this like an actual opportunity for us being early anymore? And I know you're saying like, yeah, and a lot of people are saying that. I know Von Frunten's in the chat over here saying like, OpenSea and Abstract have yet to drop. Obviously, we've got Mega ETH as well. Majors and brand coins still promising. I know we have these stimmies. And again, maybe it's PTSD. I don't know. But I do feel like we're at the point where I'm not certain that we can be, early any longer. And like, I'm not certain that there is a story that's going to be significantly like the way NFTs like worked, like they just printed. And I just don't know if that's going to be the case here with, if traditional finance comes in, it's just buy Bitcoin ETFs. And for them, it's just over long periods of time, you eventually make money because they have long time horizons in traditional finance. And I wonder if that's what this cycle is more. It's, ETH ETFs. It's,
absolutely. I think that stuff continues to go on. That's going to be part of the cycle. But what I don't think that like the other shoe of that to drop is for all that everyone who's buying Bitcoin or ETH by way of institutional ETFs or whatever, there's also a seller on the other end. And I do not think 100% of that liquidity leaves the ecosystem. In fact, I think most people who are going to be selling their Bitcoin or even ETH right now, for that matter, I think they're selling it not to stable up, not to take profits. I think most are selling it to go more risk on, go one step further into Pingu or Rect or Ape or whatever they think the beta trade is.
So your guess would be coins, as you're saying, and I'm not saying
that's like one thing that I think could see a pump, but like more than like just random coins, I think people are going to bet on real protocols. Like Hype's an easy example. Like it seems really high today at $50. Like it's possible it becomes like the Solana of this cycle. Like that's not crazy to happen. And it runs up to 150, 200. Now, is that going to 1,000x your money? No. But if Hype does that, most likely, like it's easy to connect some dots to where everything being built out on Hyper EVM could also, that's where you could find some 1,000x's. Like I think that I do think like if I had to choose coins over JPEGs, yeah, I do think it's most likely coins over JPEGs that are the big returns. I'm not making any big bets on JPEGs. I think NFTs have a very, 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 incredibly bright future. I just don't think that's where you're going to be like the risk on money is going to flow.
Well, that's kind of what oh, wow, that's weird. I just hit a button and like my SIRI, I don't want to say it out loud, just like kicked off of my computer for some reason. I don't know what it was. I was trying to go to my Rect coin market cap actually as I was looking at it. Because as we're talking about it, and I know we have more, in daily market update before our guest, so we'll get into that shortly. But like I'm looking at Rect coin and it's like market cap of 183.7 million feels like low, right? For the amount of attention, the community it's built. Like, again, I'm not a brand coin guy. Like I've said, I think the concept of brand coins as a feature is not something I'm necessarily bullish on, but I'm bullish on brands that have good coins, if that makes sense. I make sense. Pengu makes sense to me. I've said it from the beginning, Pengu makes sense to me. Rect, I've said makes sense to me. And the other thing about Rect is like I finally moved with like for me a little bit of size this week. Not for most people, but like a little bit of Rect because I just saw it and I'm like, every time they have a dip, it just gets gobbled up. And so
I'll pull up the chart we get to the daily market update. But yeah, that Binance Alpha dip, I was mad I was away from my battle station. This is the other thing I like where I'm feeling like I need to get my mobile game turned back on. I basically just decommissioned all my mobile access just for safety and security because there was nothing like I was like out and about. But now I'm like, that was a miss. Like if I had my mobile trading set up live on that Binance, I would have absolutely bought that Rect dip. And I wasn't. So that was a move I didn't make because I wasn't prepared. And so part of getting prepared for this season is doing stuff like that, making sure I'm capable of trading whenever and wherever.
Yeah. I look at it. Ooh, I have a weird echo. That's strange. Yeah, I'm looking at it like I think that's one that's kind of interesting to me. 183 million. Like, and would I be shocked to see it go to like $1 billion? Not shocked, right? And it's like that's a 5x, but like I guess like I'm curious, like you're like bullish on something happening this like, which I think is fair to say, like, we don't know what it's gonna be, but it's something could be happening. I'm like less so. Like, I just feel like maybe I'm like being overly emo about it. And like it's not even emo, because like I'm fine with like what happened. I'm fine with where I'm at. I'm fine with everything that happened. Like I'm good with it. But I do feel like to a point I missed like you talk about like, oh, well, Hype might 5x and Rect might 5x. That's incredible value. That's not what we had in 2017, 2018, or 2015, 2016, I should say. That's not what we had in 2021. And I just feel as though we're heading down a direction of, like, cool, like we're going to see Bitcoin print. We're going to see ETH print. We're going to see some of these other ones print. And it's going to be great if you're holding it and it's great. But I don't know that we're going to see that like major opportunity to get in and out of like we did with NFTs or with ICOs. And I just like, that's my not worry. Like it's cool. But like, I'm less so optimistic that we're just going to see like I think like you talk about like Mega ETH. It's like, are we just going to see coins on Mega ETH? Or we're going to, like you said, we don't know what it's going to be. But like, it's like there's going to be a Mega ETH TGE. There's going to be an abstract TGE. There's going to be, Think Token. There's going to be all these like TGEs, which are going to be great liquidity events for a lot of people. I'm just not certain that those become some like I think like, and I can't play the Info 5 game. Not good at it. Doesn't work for me. Like I can't fake it. And like that's most people doing well are generally faking it, or they have jobs at high profile places. So like they just tweet like anything and it just cooks and they're high in the Kaido leaderboards. So I don't know, man. Like I'm less bullish and optimistic, I think, than most people. I'm bullish on the space. I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I'm bullish on certain assets in the space. I'm less bullish on there's some takeoff cycle where we have the opportunity to make all sorts of money like we did in JPEGs, like we did in ICOs. And I'm less optimistic about that. I'm excited about the places I have my money, but I feel like the only way that I'm going to potentially make money this cycle just by trading is if I'm taking disproportionate risk on like putting my net worth into Reccoin and hoping it 5x's. That's my worry.
I wouldn't do that. But at the same time, it was only it's Reccoin is up 1,200% since April. That was a few months ago, right? Like I believe there's other of those sorts of opportunities that maybe haven't had their moment yet, or we just haven't seen yet. Like I think it's highly, highly likely that at the end of this cycle, we're not like what I know you're not nearly as much of a fan of the concept of brand coins as I am. What would you even consider? Before I answer, I'll give my answer. What would you consider brand coins today?
I mean, they're meme coins.
Like besides Rec, any others?
Oh,
you would even
like Pengu. It's like
those are my two answers. It's brand coin. It's Rect and it's Pengu. I even said it. I think over the weekend that Pengu may not have been first as far as like running with that brand coin narrative. That's exactly what that is, and I like the trajectory they're on. Like it's hard for me to see them not being the best brand coin this cycle because of they're crushing the execution and they're really building into that. They started doing it. OSF like tweaked the model, massaged it, really put the thought into like what this looks like from a theoretical standpoint, and is executing it at the consumer level, right? Outside of crypto and Web3. We haven't seen Pengu turn that on yet. Because they're existing distribution, they're better positioned than anyone on the planet to do so with those Penguin toys and their connections. So like those are two, dude. I think it's by the end of this cycle, I think it's more likely than we see. We're talking about 2 brand coins. I think it's more likely we're talking about 20 brand coins. It probably lands somewhere in the middle. There's like 10, maybe a dozen of ones that are like, oh, this isn't the next. This sticks. Like they have a real thesis and. You're not going to have it. Let's say there is 10. So there's 8 more to come that have the success be somewhere between Rect and Pengu. You don't have to hit on all of them. Like literally one of those, if you're early enough, if you're part, whether it's the NFT or you see it launch, like one of those, you could have the potential to you could see a 10,000x. Like it's just like we now have a narrative, and maybe that's it. Maybe we talk through it. And it's not NFTs, it's not meme coins, it's brand coins. Maybe that could be the thing of this cycle that leads to just massive printing. I'm not saying that's what it is. I don't think that's what it is. I think that'll just be one component of what we see happen this cycle. And I would be shocked if fast forward 2 years from now and I ask you that same question, what do you consider viable brand coins today? And it's not, worst case, at least double that. It's at least 4 or 5. I think it's probably in the double digits, but I think we're going to see others that replicate this model, that use this playbook. And I don't even think they've launched yet.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I think like with brand coins, like we have this survivor bias where we talk about like the awesome ones. And like I get it. And I'm not like saying like I'm not trying to be like Debbie Downer here, but like Dude is a brand coin and like it's tanked. The anime is a brand coin.
I don't think it's a brand coin. I like anime is. You're right. But they haven't I don't know. I don't consider Dude a brand coin the way I consider Dude more of a utility token for DreamNet and not a brand coin.
But that's what anime is supposed to be with whatever they're building in anime.com at the same time. but
so
like,
maybe that's the problem.
but
like,
our definition is based on the success. Like Rect is probably the only brand coin that we theoretically have because it's tied to a real brand that's doing real stuff. And by the way, there happens to be a coin tracking sentiment because
Pingo is. They just haven't activated it yet. But we
tips,
know
there's stuff you do with Penguin.
Well, we know that like this toy bound here, it's going to be. I'm going to be able to claim Pingo with it someday. So it's there. It's just not been turned on yet.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Like I think like we define brand coins now based on like what's successful that we like in the market versus like what it does. Like I think Dude is a brand coin. What else does Dude do? It's based on the sentiment of Doodles, which is not good right now, right? And it's like in theory, like people might say, oh well, eventually it's going to be a utility coin with DreamNet. Like we don't know what DreamNet is. Won't get into it because it's not worth discussing. But there was kind of a mutiny in the a little bit of a mini mutiny in the Doodles Discord over the weekend, which was interesting. But I don't want to get into it. But like, I guess my point is,
I'm not trying to upset people. I'm confused by Doodles. I've shared that previously. I was asked my opinion on some things. I shared my opinion. I'm not fudding Doodles. I like them. I like the brand. This guy I got questioned over the weekend because I pushed back on Finn Aaron, who had a viral post on, maybe it was commentary, maybe it was a shot at Pudgy's after Coinbase and OpenSea changed their PFP back to their brand PFP after 24 hours, which, as both you and I said, that's pretty standard. I think a huge win, and Chief in the chat said, you see Jupiter Exchange change their PFP to a Penguin? I'm like, yeah, and about 20 other large crypto brands as well. But my point there was like we don't need to PvP this. Like it's all of us here, anyone that's holding JPEGs, anyone that's passionate about NFTs and NFTs community or NFT PFPs, like I guarantee you, we all have far more in common than those people who aren't here. And the space is so small. This is like it's just so early in that world of like, it's us against the world. And like infighting and trying to take away or dunk or devalue other teams' wins. It's just not a good look. I don't think. It's just my opinion. And in that conversation, like someone asked, like, weren't you fighting Doodles recently? I was like, no. I don't think have I ever said anything publicly on the timeline about Doodles and my frustrations or confusion? Yeah. I also hold a Doodle. I'm a community member. I don't think there's anything wrong. I don't consider feedback or constructive criticism or questions FUD or taking shots at others. That's I think healthy. What I don't like and I just don't want to see is people here taking shots at other NFT PFP ecosystems. It accomplishes nothing. And it turns people off. Not only does it make the other people mad at you, it turns people off in the ecosystem. Like I don't want to be associated with that. I don't want to be like viewed as an ape who just tries to take shots at Pudgy Penguins all the time. Like, no, I love Pudgy Penguins. I'm a Pingu holder. I don't even hold a Pudgy, but it's like, if they win, this space wins. Just like Bored Apes carried the space last time. Like, it's okay. It's actually good not to have a monopolistic leader. It's good to have healthy leaders where you leapfrog each other. You look at like what we're seeing in the AI streets. Like I think part of the reason we're seeing so much crazy fast advancement is you've got not just one or two, you have a half dozen extremely viable, successful companies that are aggressively competing with each other. And if it was just OpenAI and Perplexity, we probably don't see the advancement rates enough. Like OpenAI probably ships their last update. It's like, but because that's gotten so competitive, the speed of evolution is just so much faster, and it's healthy. I think it's good for all of us. It's great for the space. Anyways, I'll end that rant. And my long way of saying is like, I don't know. I think I just need to bite my tongue on the Doodles because it gets either taken out of context or taken the wrong way. And as a longtime holder and community member, I'm a little confused with the direction. That's all. I'm not mad. It is what it is. So I'll just bite my tongue so I don't upset anyone.
Yeah, as far as the PFP thing goes, before we go to Joey, I'm gonna do more in a second here because my more is related to that. But like, I actually don't care that much if people want to FUD. Look, like NFTs are like sports teams, and I talk a lot of trash about Michigan football because I'm an Ohio State football guy, right? Like, so it happens in Penn State and all the like, right? Like friendly trash talk. My big thing is stand on business. It was clearly a shot. By the way, I responded that a 24-hour profile picture change is standard. And the social and events and community lead for OpenSea responded to me and was like, that part. So like, in case you wanted confirmation about the fact that like it's a 24-hour standard, the OpenSea social community lead, the person, Adam, my buddy Adam, not Adam Hollander, Adam Ilinich, he actually responded and was like, so this is a guy who used to send the tweets for Twitter back in the day. So if you want to know what the standard is, so there's about like 24-hour Switch is standard, is a factual thing. But stand on business, like Finn Aaron, if you want to talk trash, talk your shit, man. But like stand on it. Don't be like, oh, I was just commentating on the space. I don't know why you're getting mad. You put it out there as rage bait. You put it out there as like, hey, let's get attention. And then when you got attention, you got mad. Like you tried to back down it. Just stand on it. Just be like, yeah, you know what? I'm an ape. Like it happened. We did it during the bowl. Like
and it's okay. Like you don't like. I'm not saying every ape has to love pudgies and doodles, and like it's perfectly fine if you want to double down and be, a brand loyalist, a homer for your home team. I get it. Eagles fans hate the Cowboys. That's okay. I don't. My whole point is like we are not an established sector like the NFL. We're in our infancy stages, and I think that sort of activity does more harm than good for the outsiders looking in. That's my here, whatever. Just talk your shit, have fun. We're so early in the big scheme of things here as it relates to this small niche part of the internet. Like that's it.
I'm in the same spot as you. It's just to me, it's like I guess my point was more kind of a yes and where it's like if you're gonna do it, just stand on it. Don't be like I don't know what you're getting all upset about. Because like I saw his response to you, and his response.
Here's what we're talking about. If you missed it, after 24 hours, Coinbase and OpenSea have removed their Pudgy Penguin PFP. That was it. It was accurate. I mean, accurate post. But it's like, yeah, that's what happens. And I kind of went on a rant. I probably went a little too hard, but
then he responded. But sorry, read your response. Sorry, go ahead. Because I thought his response.
In the PFP stuff, please. Pudgies and Penguins are crushing. Not to mention the 24-hour P-stop is pretty much for a brand is pretty much the norm. It looks bad on apes to attempt to take shots at Pudgies for W's. These were absolutely W's. It enters cringe territory when at the same time, big brands are showing their support with Pudgy PFPs. We have multiple OGs swapping away from their 8 PFPs, some to Pudgies. I haven't seen 0 going the other way. The PFP stuff is it's literally driving 8s out of group chats because they are done with the negativity. Close to driving some to not just switch their PFP and leave group chats, but leave the club altogether. I say thanks for considering bringing Wagging back and the fun back. And I'm not saying like wag me in the true sense of the word, but man, I do believe that's part of what made this space so special last time was we were all a part of this together. There wasn't this infighting, there wasn't this dissension amongst a few thousand of us that are here, right?
Part of my problem though, and we don't have to go into like because I know you responded pretty long, but his initial response, he was like, I was just commenting on the space. However, like he's trying to have his cake and eat it too. Because like when he responded to you, he tried to say like, that's whatever. I was just commentating on the space. I was making commentary. You're the one who took it, like almost acting like it's a Rorschach test where you looked at it and somehow you got triggered, but it was your fault. And then he goes on to say, but brands talk trash and they should talk trash. So it's like, which is it, my man? Because like, I'm cool with like, you want to do it, just stand on it. Don't be like, all I was doing was this. Like, either stand on it or don't, but like it felt like he tried to play the middle too much. And it's like, that's where I have more of a problem is like stand on it or don't, or, either you stand on it or you be like, hey, my bad. I was just commenting on this. I do it regularly. Like wasn't meant to be a shot, go Pudgies. If that's your case, good. If you want to say like, nope, I'm trash talking, good. But like playing the middle is weird to me. Like that's the weird part. Felt like he was trying to hedge in there. Cause like he literally responded to you with like both, but
we got like Vaughn from the chat. Taking shots on CT is the biggest turnoff for me. Quickest way for me to unfollow or block. We're at 100% on point with taking shots issue. It's a symptom of early maturity in the space. Maybe. I just don't think it helps anything. Like I even said like, and I know they wouldn't do this and because it would upset some people. And I saw someone actually say, I saw their post. They said, I'm something like if Bored Ape changes their PFP to a Pudgy, I'm out. I'm selling mine. Before they said that, I actually said, I'd love it if they did that for a day, like to show some unity, bring the space together. Like it's okay to celebrate others' wins. It's not like you're not selling out. You're not like it's fine. Like Meebits did it. I think we'll probably see other brands do it this week too. It's like it's okay to join in whatever like the meta of the week is to show support. And I said, but it'll never happen because it would really upset some people. And it's like, why? I'm not, like I say this not like tongue in cheek. Like, why does that upset you?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a bizarre, like, honestly, like, to me, it's like, I don't know. I guess I'll put a pin in it just because, like, I know Joey, like, we've like we've boxed out Joey a couple times by accident going on our rants here, and he's had to go to the gym or other things like that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do more quickly, about 60 seconds. After that, we will go to Joey for sure. So Joey, just stay put, and then we're going to get you on Ethos, Joey, because I see I got your ETH wallet, so I'll get you on there. So let's do more on this particular topic.
The more you know, brought to you by ENS.
It's time for the More You Know, brought to you by ENS. And look, we saw a cultural moment, which I want to talk deeper about this potentially if we have time. If not, we got to talk about it tomorrow or after our guest, which is, the idea that a couple brands and partnerships switched to PFPs, and then it became a cultural rolling moment where everybody was switching to Pudgy PFPs. But it's not a new phenomenon in 2021. Visa kicked things off buying a CryptoPunk for $150,000 and swapping it as their PFP on X. It was the first of the what moment from TradFi coming in. Was a really big moment. We forget how big it was that Visa bought a CryptoPunk at the time, was talking about some payment systems as well. Arizona Ice-T filed fast, changing their avatar to a Bored Ape that they bought, getting welcomed personally by the club. It was a cultural sign. Then Adidas Originals showed up with their BAYC collab, rocking their tracksuit wearing ape. I believe it was Hertz Indigo is what they named it, as their official PFP. Streetwear has entered the chat. Time Magazine went all on NFTs, not just launching timepieces, but using one as their PFP. I forgot about this one. The Taco Bell had a taco-flavored PFP they used as their limited time PFP drop, and Budweiser bought Beer.eth and set a Tom Sachs Rocket Factory NFT as their PFP. Remember that? I forgot about that for a period of time.
That was a big one for me last cycle.
Yeah, it was a huge print for a lot.
It was actually my first. It was my first 5-figure flip within 24 hours. Bought a 3-pack one night. I had 2 of the 3 Tiffany ones, so I sold one and bought the 3rd Tiffany, and I listed it as a bundle. Woke up the next morning to think it's sold. I don't remember what the price of ETH was, but it was like from a couple $100 mint to $20,000 overnight. And I kid you not, I was like, "Oh, I fucked up." Was my first thought. Like that's how crazy things can get here. You mint something, you list it at a ridiculous price, not thinking anything happens, but you put a little thought to, I'm gonna bundle up the full Tiffany Rocket. It was if you weren't familiar, there was like 3. There was a base, a middle, and a top, and you could merge together like a hodgepodge of different brands, or you could build all one. So I had the Tiffany one, and I listed it sold. I was like, oh man, I really messed up that time. Off a $20,000 24-hour flip.
I've had that. I had that happen with Punk's Comics when they were doing their Meta Hero passes, where I sold a couple, and I'm like, did I make a mistake? But that was the More You Know, brought to you by ENS. ENS does more than you know, not just anchoring your name in Web3, but anchoring across the internet. It's your identity. Simple, memorable, and unmistakably yours. Go to ens.domains to learn more and secure your ENS domain today. That said, let's bring in Joey Vowles on this, because I want to get Joey Vowles, whether it's this or anything else you want to talk about. Want to get our guy Joey Vowles in here. Also, Joey, just so you know, sent you a DM. It sometimes takes a second on over on Discord. That's going to get you over to Ethos. You just want to do the daily task every day, do a couple of reviews here and there every day, but make sure you do the daily task. Resets at 8 p.m. Eastern time every single day. That is how you get your XP to level up. Hopefully, this is going to boost you into the credibility range, though, because my invite should be pretty good there. But Joey, GM, welcome to stage.
GM guys, I had no idea that I even had reviews, and I went and looked at them today. And the one negative review I had really made me giggle a lot. But anyways, I came up when you were talking about the brand coins, because I guess my question is, because I still really don't completely understand what a brand coin is, right? This is a new moniker that's been assigned, right, to meme coins, or I don't know whatever. Is there a mental checklist that, because Cap, you were the one that was pushing, like in this conversation, the idea of the brand coin. Is there a mental checklist that you have that would classify something as a brand coin? And if so, what is that checklist?
I'd have to think on it. Just for sake of time today, can I punt that till tomorrow? Because I do want to answer the question, but I don't like have a specific. My first initial thought would be go read the Rect white paper. Gives you like an outsider's view of how they're describing brand coins. But I want to put some more thought to it because there probably is a somewhat of a checklist. But I also think at the same time, it's there's not like one particular way to do it. I think part of it is it's being written right now. Right now, we've got, from my perspective, 2 that are really executing this specific narrative that I have in my mind, and it's Rect and Pingu. So basically, that's my checklist, is what you're seeing take place really with Rect, because I only incorporate Pingu because I know it's coming, but Rect is there already with bringing their, I guess part of where my head anyways, and I'll wrap with this, part of my head with what makes it a brand coin is tying the token to real life physical products. I guess you could do it digital products, but right now, at least in my head, my first thought, again, without putting more thought to it, is some connection to the real world, some connection to a real life product that it's the next generation loyalty rewards program. Like I think brand coins have the ability for startups, not all established companies, but I think they have the ability to be a much, much, much better loyalty rewards program.
So does that mean, so just to understand a little further, because again, I asked in the war room, like I still don't get it. So for the example of Rect, because anytime there's been an OpenSea farm, and you have to like buy a certain token, I focus on either Rect or Billy or Pengu, right? Like, because those are the 3 that I hold. And I'm like, you know what, if I'm going to have to earn XP, swapping into a token, I might as well, swap another $25, $50, whatever it is, right, into those tokens. So I've been accumulating Rect. And so from your perspective, is the tying of the token to the product, like, is there like a reward, right? Like, so it makes it a brand coin because as I purchase more Rect drink and participate in the ecosystem by purchasing other things, I earn more Rect token? Or is it as the brand grows, the value of the token grows, like in parallel? Or is it both?
Both. I think both. I don't think it has to be that, but right now, my initial gut thought, based on what I've seen today, is it would be both. It'd be a proxy of brand awareness, brand recognition. It's like, I kind of, maybe the comparable would be like, it's like a meme stock, right? There's a lot of TradFi stocks that trade at insane multipliers, not based on any fundamentals, but rather it's a supply demand thing. You've got, as the brand grows, people, they can get a vision of what it might become. And so I think as brands really establish themselves, number could go up, and that's one component. But I think really where I'm at today is it's the loyalty reward tie-in that can really, that's I think a key component to it, at least today, where I'm thinking.
That makes total sense, because I was thinking there's been other tokens prior to the moniker of brand coin being like established. I was thinking in the audience, like listening, as Steve was like, well, is Dude one? Is Anime one? And I started to think of these other tokens that have launched that if they had launched now, would people consider them a brand coin versus like a meme coin because of their connection to the ecosystem? But they haven't been successful. So to Steve's point, he was like, well, if they're not successful, like maybe in our mind, because they're not successful, we're not calling them one kind of situation. Because I would say Dude probably is a brand coin. And I would say Anime is not, because I don't think Anime is directly connected to Azuki. Anime is a blockchain, and it's its own complete separate thing, right? Like there was an initial reward for Azuki, but now Azuki's success isn't really tied to Anime token anymore, because Anime coin is directly tied to the success of Anime chain and the Anime ecosystem they're building. I don't know what you guys think, but I think to Steve's point, I think Dude would be considered one and Anime wouldn't.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the part of Dude that connects it with anything other than
but they've talked about it being a reward within DreamNet. We don't know what it is, but like I think on paper, it probably, the other thing is like we can say like not all brand coins are going to be successful either. To your point, like you said, like there might be 1,000 brand coins and 20 might be awesome.
Right. Exactly.
So like,
same thing with NFTs. Like 99% of the brand coins are going to go to zero, but the 10 that make it, those are like that. I believe, just like if you bet on apes, pudgies, azukis, and doodles, and fill in a few others last cycle, you won big. If you bet on the other 999,000 and you held them, you lost big. Like I think we could see something very similar this cycle. Most will fail. It's hard.
Yeah. And then, so that's where it's like, I think both things can be true, where I was like, what's a brand coin? And we're like, dude's a brand coin. Like, and I kind of mentioned this thought about like, hey, we have the survivor bias based on what's been successful. I would actually say maybe not. Maybe it's just like some are going to work, some aren't, because dude has been talked about like dream nets and rewards, and you build worlds or something and they reward you in dudes and other shit. I don't know, but like it's probably the same idea digitally, but like it doesn't mean it's going to be, and it might be successful. I'm not saying it won't be, but it's not. It's to say like if a brand coin, I like this parameter we're putting around right now. Like I like this depth defining. We're sort of like workshopping live, and we'll flip over. We'll maybe save a daily market update for 9:30, but like we'll jump to the interview here in a second. But like I like this concept of like, because like my big thing is like, maybe I'm just too nerdy, but like, I like to define parameters instead of being like, this is this based on vibes and how we feel, which I get. But like, when you're being like, it's part of a reward, I will scan my Pengu and get a reward. I will get this and get a reward. They're having it as a part of like bringing people in, and like Rect being that thing. Like, I like that same definition of it. So, which I got more coming in from that Jupiter airdrop. Excited about that. And excited about the drinks. So I like the way that you're thinking about that, Cap, and I think it's a good definition. But
last question is, are brand coins like the Web3 version of like Cole's Cash?
No, because like Cole's Cash you spend in Cole's. I think it's more like a cashback situation. Like it's like I was actually
closer to credit card rewards. I agree.
Yeah, and last thing I'll say in it before we swing over to our that I'll swing before we swing over to our guest here is, I will say, like, so speaking of credit card rewards, I was trying to do major research on Bitcoin cashback credit cards this weekend. Like Gemini, I know is like 432, but it's mostly 1%. Coinbase sounds like it's going to be the best. It sounds like Coinbase.
You know what? I need to do the same thing. I've been using like easy. I have a Coinbase debit card now, so I can do it. I think it's. I'll double check to see the current cashback, but that's just another great way to DCA into Bitcoin. You know, and I would much rather have 1% of that could be like, if I don't do anything with it and it does what I think, then it's closer to 10% a few years from now. You know what I'm saying? Like where.
Yeah, because it's like when the credit card situation, like, you know, I have my Sky Miles card, which gets me miles. I use it for Delta things. And I do that up until the point where I get to like the highest status in Delta. So I get like all the little upgrades and rewards and stuff. I've hit that point. And so now I'm using my Fidelity card. Well, the reason I use my Fidelity card is it's 2% cash back. That 2% goes into a brokerage account. I use that to invest instead of, it's like a forced savings mechanism. If I'm getting like 1 to 4% back on Bitcoin, I think there's the opportunity there. So, that said, let's do this. Let's do our Ape Chain Architects segment, and let's bring on Motus Art. Cap, big day, big week, I mean, Ape Chain is coming strong. We had a call about this late last week to get ready for this interview. We got the Spotlight coming. There's a Medium article out this morning. Spotlight simply built different. Excited for this one, but I'll hand it off to you because I'm excited to kick this one off. Ape Chain is coming strong. Like you talk about the cycle kicking off, like with some of these big plays. We've got all these different chains and all these different brands coming big, but excited about Ape Chain and how they're moving right now because it feels like we're moving towards the feature some builders and feature some people who are doing some big things. So Cap, I'll hand it off to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we go to our guest today, got another guest coming back to join us tomorrow. One of the featured builders on Spotlight Season 2. Simple Farmer, who's been on here before, builder of Clutch Market, who also sponsor the show. We are going to hit a Clutch Cap Market parlay the day to day. By the way, I'm going to go dial it back down. I got maybe get a little over my skis, a little aggressive with the parlays. We're going to just dial it back to a 2-gamer. We'll hit a shipper today, and we'll give that away to a listener tomorrow. But yeah, Simple Farmer is going to join us tomorrow. We'll go do a deeper dive on the Ape Chain Spotlight Season 2 and all that's out there. Didn't want to short our guest today, and I know Simple Farmer had a meeting earlier, and little bit of news to talk about coming off the hot weekend. But so stay tuned. More on Spotlight Season 2 tomorrow for sure. Not a sponsored post. We're just genuinely excited about it and want to do the deep dive. And Owen here.
Hello.
I was gonna say I apologize if I just doxed you inadvertently. I apologize if that wasn't known to the public. Is that okay?
That's fine. Yeah. I go by Owen or Motus Art. Kind of the online hand.
I should have asked prior. That was as soon as the words came out. I was, oops. So Owen, behind the Motus Art account here. Appreciate you joining us. I'm excited to talk, Ape Chain and Jeff Staple and all things. But I would love, this is our first time connecting. I'd love to get a little more of your background and your journey maybe prior to crypto and Web3 and what brought you here, and ultimately how'd you find Ape Chain?
Cool. Yeah. Well, thanks a lot for having me on the show. This is great. So yeah, a bit about myself. So I'm a visual artist, and generally I would create visual art and animated art using computer code and algorithms and math. There was a joke: if you can't draw, I can use the computer to draw for me. That's what kind of got me into this field of new media. So I've been doing art for about 10 years or more than that. But kind of moving into the Web3, that mainly started around art blocks. I kind of always heard bits and pieces about Web3 before then, but art blocks was the first one I really saw potential for Web3 as an artist, because it was now we had a way of selling digital art, not just selling digital art, but a way of kind of verifying and creating it, and then also having that certificate of authenticity, but also then having rarity, because I think up until then, as far as I know, kind of having rarity in the digital medium was pretty much impossible, because you could just copy paste and have it infinitely. But now there was a way to say this is a one of one, this is one of whatever. So that kind of what drew me into it there. I had a really successful drop in art blocks back in 2022 and 2021 with Belitic, and that was an animated piece of. My style is very kind of minimalistic color-wise, generally kind of just monotone. Not always. That's starting to change a bit. But almost always animated. I like to use kind of time as like the extra dimension to kind of work on and how things evolve and change. So generally, I would have animated works. And that one in art blocks certainly kind of pulled everything together, and it made it what I'd been kind of doing without really realizing was basically long form generative art, as in being I code for anyone who doesn't know, I code one kind of algorithm or one code base, and then using a kind of a random or predictable random deterministic input, which for NFTs, we always use the seed token. That'll be used as the random kind of seed to build everything off that. So then for that piece, I think it was 200 one-of-ones, if that kind of makes sense. Basically, an addition size of 200, everyone being unique, but unknowing what that's going to be. So I could be explaining NFTs to an audience who is very well versed in NFTs, but I always like to kind of go through that first, because sometimes people have no idea what I'm talking about. And yeah, so from there, I kind of just continued on. I wouldn't say I'm like a Web3 person, but having the Web3 as a platform or a way to not just sell art, but create it is incredible. So I've kind of been moving more and more towards that. Not exclusively Web3, but it's such a great way as a digital artist to be able to create and distribute work.
So tell us about, appreciate you sharing all that. Tell us about Pulsewidth and the collection you launched at this Jeff Staples event. Why Ape Chain and what did you feel about this event? I got a video up here, kind of giving you some behind this or overview behind the scenes for those that missed the Jeff Staples event in New York. But yeah, tell us more about Pulsewidth.
Yeah, so Pulsewidth is my latest piece, and that was dropped on Ape Chain 2 weeks ago in New York as part of NFT NYC. I first kind of came across, I first met the Ape Chain team in London at the Digital Art Awards. And with me, we got speaking. I kind of mentioned some of the work I had available. They mentioned some events and ideas, and then it became very obvious we had to collaborate on something. And then, yeah, a month later was NFT NYC. So that seemed absolutely perfect. And they were doing their creator showcase in the Staples store. So I came over for that. But I didn't just want to release like a new piece of work. So I had this piece I've been working on for a year and a half, which is called Pulse With. But I didn't just want to release that as just a standard drop. I wanted to do something a bit special, especially because it was going to be an in-person event. So what I just kind of decided to do is I wanted to kind of show a little bit about how the artwork was created, not just you meant there's your output. It's a little more of an explanation, and not just an explanation, but also allow people in person to explore and play with it. So for that, I created a custom MIDI controller, which would control different variables within the artwork. But I purposely didn't tell them what they did. You had to explore. This is part of the playful part of it. So in store, you would walk up to the MIDI controller, big screen in front of you, and you could kind of play around with all the knobs and dials and faders, and you would instantly see the output changing in front of you. So somewhat kind of like FX hash params, if anyone's aware of that. And for people who minted in store, they could not just mint a kind of random output. They could also mint the exact one that they created themselves. So it became a little more personalized, but that was only going to be for in-store minting. And then 24 hours later, when the event had finished, then it became a public mint, which amazingly sold out. So thank you very much, community. Very happy with that.
Is that, can I ask why, sorry, I was gonna say, can I ask why was the community the Ape Chain draw for you as you were putting this together? Like, talk about some of the different draws and things that you talked about, because obviously like went really well. You know, the display, the setup in NFC was awesome, cool interactive event, the way it worked, but like, why Ape Chain? Like what drove you there? Was it community? Was it collectors? Like what are some of the different thoughts you had behind there?
It was, yeah. So meeting some of the team in London, they kind of talked about not just the community, but the whole kind of ecosystem of Ape Chain. I think a lot of our kind of ideas aligned. And then especially at the event, I really got to see firsthand like how kind of important community was to Ape Chain. Because there's lots of other big NFT platforms, but they're always mostly just kind of a platform, and that's it. There's not really much by that. You might get to know some names who kind of pop up every once in a while. You might have some podcasts and such. But the Ape Chain community, seeing people show up in person, and they all kind of knew each other. They're all in sync. I had a really good vibe about it. Just being that so much more friendly in person, being able to speak to people face to face, and seeing just how many of them would show up to these events. That was impressive. I have not actually seen that too much in the Web3 up until now.
You know, I think it's one of the things that I think Ape Chain has that's unique, that's kind of different than a lot of others, is that it has this built-in community. So, you know, obviously generative art, like really cool, and like, you know, going there makes it really easy and accessible. You know, there's like there is the goal, like ultimately long-term, to continue to drive sort of art on Ape Chain? Is it to go sort of beyond Ape Chain? Like, what is your thinking as far as like your ultimate goal that like, okay, this has worked out pretty well. What next? Like, what do you continue to do moving forward?
Yeah, kind of hoping so. I think that's kind of why we got on so well meeting the team, was they did seem to have this feeling they wanted to get kind of more artists like myself, more kind of long form generative art onto the platform. And now kind of seeing how the platform works, yeah, it's fantastic. Because being, oh, sorry, I'm confused. Is it layer 2 or layer 3? Whatever it is, it's a lot easier to mint large code bases. As anyone knows, if you put fully on-chain code on layer 1 ETH, it costs an absolute fortune. It's nice to have the longevity, but it costs an absolute fortune. To have a slightly further there, it was incredible.
I was going to ask this. That's where like a lot of people think of like, oh, I want fine art on ETH mainnet, and just like if it's just a static image, I could get that. But that's what I was going to ask, is like, there's actual like real advantages for doing more complex mints and you know, larger code base and stuff on Ape Chain, on these layer 2s, on these layer 3s, right? It enables you to do a lot more with the tech, with the art, correct?
Mm-hmm. More than I know, to be honest. The amount of people I've spoken to since, who have said, oh, did you know on like Ape Chain you can do this, you can tie into real world data, you can have thing update, you can have it, people committing back, and mind is blown, because that's coming from the main chain. I'm sure it's possible writing your own contract, but that's beyond my knowledge. So the people who have kind of suggested different ideas where it doesn't need to be just a static artwork that is minted and then it kind of just lives forever there. It could actually be something that evolves. People can not just kind of trade it, but kind of as they move around, they can kind of, I'm just kind of repeating something people have said to me. I've been able to like merge 2 different code bases, or to merge 2 different NFTs to create a third one. And yeah, the possibilities are vast. It's something I'm trying to look into, but I need more time. There's a lot to on board here.
Can I ask a question related to generative art in general? Because it's actually it's one of my favorite types of art. Like I realized when I got into Web3 a little bit, that, you know, I was never an art person growing up. My parents weren't into art, and I was like, I don't get it. And then I realized I was looking at the wrong art, or I just kind of didn't get art, and it sort of clicked for me. I'm curious your thoughts on the future of generative art, because to me, it is almost like, you know, abstract art at the time for when it first, you know, was sort of became more of a thing. People were like, you know, like Jackson Pollock is just splattering around. I don't get it. And then it became, you know, expensive, you know, valuable art. And there was always like, you can find historically people who questioned different types of modern art as well. Like you go to a modern art museum, it's like, what's that supposed to be? And then it turns out to be a commentary on, you know, on society, or it becomes interesting in that way. I find generative art to be like, it's perfect for me. I've gotten into art. It's a blend of art and code. It's like something coded into existence is beautiful to me. What are your thoughts on the future of generative art as it relates to, I know Toledo Museum of Art has been one that's embraced this. They've had CryptoPunks, they've had generative art. We've seen it in some art galleries. What are your thoughts on the general future of generative art as a practice?
Well, I think generative art's been around since way back in the 60s, but certainly NFTs kind of threw it right back in the spotlight. It's that kind of on-chain minting was just the perfect combination. So it's nice it kind of had this huge, big renaissance. It's all kind of come back. In terms of the future, yeah, I hope it continues to reach a wider audience. As you say, it looks very abstract when you first see it, well, depending on the piece. Some of it looks very abstract and random, but then when you start to see how each one is different random, but yet still recognizable, then you start to understand kind of a little bit of what's behind it. And I always find it interesting, or other people find it interesting, how that, as an artist, like, have I created that piece? Because it was the minter who purchased a piece, creating that random token. That was what created that artwork. I just wrote the algorithm. So am I the artist of that piece, or am I just the artist of the algorithm, and then the collector is part of the artist? It's much more, it's not just like a one-way art. Here's the piece, you like it, you don't like it. It's more, the collector is part of collecting it. Like, without them collecting, that piece never would have existed. I may have had pieces very similar to it, but I would never have had exactly that piece. I think that makes it a lot more kind of like a two-way conversation.
Do you call it? Is it? I mean, is it experiential art, collaborative art? Like, and I think I can think of a couple examples that come to mind where traditional artists have done, you know, physical installations where, you know, like one that comes to mind. I'll see if I can find a picture of it. But it was basically like a white room. In the art was everyone who came, every visitor who came. They just measured themselves, and they wrote their, you know, they're basically a line that indicated their height on the wall. And then there was a time lapse, and you zoom out, it's like a graph of the height of, you know, it's like, it's kind of, but like, I think of like interactive experiential art like that. Do you have a name for it? Is it
the traveling, sorry, real quick, the traveling, just to jump in, the traveling mirrors exhibit, if people know what that is, it's a very famous traveling exhibit where you would stand in a room and it would look like it's infinite, but it wasn't. And they're like, they use mirrors for things. They had a traveling thing with that. This is really cool, Cap. I forgot this existed. I'll kind of like dovetail your question, but you get me all excited here with this one. It's like, it was a traveling exhibit where you had a sticker. Everyone got one dot when they showed up to the mirrors exhibit. And then there was this big white room that was like it looked like a living room, but you could put your one dot somewhere in this, you know, sort of, you know, piece where like you were able to put this one dot, and as it traveled the country, more and more people would use it, and suddenly this room becomes this beautiful colored thing covered in dots, where it was like sort of the final part of it, like that. Or even like to a degree, you know, less art, but like the national title, when the national title game happened, Notre Dame versus Ohio State, you could take a Sharpie and you could go up and put something on sort of this like large canvas, and like you became part of the art. So sorry to jump in. I'm like a Labrador Retriever, and Cap got all excited about this. It's like, I'll let you finish the question, but like, yeah, like that's it. I didn't think about like that being a concept.
What, like, this is the one I was talking about. It's called Measuring the Universe. This is just a static image. It doesn't quite hit as much as like the time lapse does, but you can get an idea. And what was the one you were saying? I believe it was called the Mirrors exhibit. I'm not sure actually what it was called, but it was like a Mirrors exhibit that traveled. And I saw it when it was in Cleveland, because the Cleveland Museum of Art is free to go to, which is a crazy thing because it's a great one, but you could pay to go to these exhibits if you're a member. Infinity mirrors or infinity mirror rooms.
That sounds right. That sounds right. And there was one part at the end. I think it was infinity mirrors. Maybe it was another traveling art installation. I'm completely fucking this up. But like the idea was like you would get like one sticker, one dot when you showed up, and you could put it anywhere in the room. And it was so the infinity mirrors was the cool part, but the dots thing at the end. So that room that looks like it's like infinite is like you go in and you stand in a room and it's like the size of a cubicle. Like I have a picture of Dawn and me. I'll find that. I'll pull up after we get to the question to show you kind of what it was like. But there's a picture of Dawn and me that I took in it where it looks like we're in this like infinite field and we're in like something the size of a phone booth. But to dovetail the question, is there a name for this sort of idea of interactive art? And do you consider generative art part of it? Because I remember, again, like not to, bring up bad memories for a lot of people, but I was listening to Kevin Rose when he had, Snowfro on from Art Blocks. And I remember having the conversation where it was like them talking about like you're almost putting a quarter in the machine. And then that's the thing that finishes it. And you have this unique piece of art that never existed before and will never exist again. And I made my own planet, it was called a Galaxis planet. And it was like mind blown. And I loved it. And I showed it to people I worked with at Nestle and some got it, some thought I was insane. But do you consider, I guess, Motus Art, Owen, do you consider this to be part of that movement? Or do you consider this to be something materially different? And is there a name for that you know of?
I think the name for that would generally be like immersive art or interactive immersive art. Or again, maybe even community art. And is it strictly generative art? Maybe, yeah. Because generative art really is just like a rule set. Like I say algorithms, it sounds fancy. It's really some rule set. And then the rule set plays out, and that's what creates the end piece. So in those examples you gave, the rule set is, here's a sticker, stick it on the wall. And after that, it's completely random. Do whatever you want. But you will find, especially with people, you'll find patterns emerging. That's kind of makes it interesting. Like I could code an algorithm just to say, place 1,000 random dots on the screen, and it'll just be a chaotic mess. It's a little bit boring. It's still technically generative art, but it's a bit boring. But when you add in like one other simple rule, the example I always give is place 1,000 random dots on the screen, and then make every dot move a little bit closer to its neighboring dots. And then all of a sudden, you've gone into these vast complexities that you could never possibly have predicted. Which is interesting as an artist. It's hard for me to kind of have a vision of what I'm trying to create when the outcome is so unpredictable. So a lot is more experimental, a lot of fun, and kind of coding these rules. I've got a rough idea what it's going to do, but when it surprises me, that's when it gets really interesting. When it does something I didn't quite expect, that's when I went on to something a bit unique. And for community art, what's more unexpected than people? If you give them a simple rule to say, put this dot inside the box, people put the dot outside the box. And that's brilliant because they're breaking the rules in an interesting way that could not be predicted. Well, people it could be, but for the outcome art, you never know where it's going to go. So actually there are a lot of comparisons, a lot of kind of similarities between the two.
Yeah, the idea that you're like doing something together in that way, I think is kind of crazy, and it's something that you maybe don't necessarily think about. And the idea that those can be two. Oh, by the way, it's so funny. I was looking for an Infinity Mirrors in cap, and the first thing that comes up is Cleveland Museum of Art, even though it traveled across the country. But it is interesting that there's this interactive nature to it. And so I guess with that said, like, one of the things that I would toss out there is there a creative way that you would think about activating against something like this, or a creative way that you would like think about activating against this concept of generative art, or something that maybe hasn't been done? Or is it just, are you like, look, I want to express myself through generative art, and I think it's if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It's all about experimentation. It's always trying to do something new. Certainly, involving the community is a really interesting one. And again, that really wasn't possible up until now, or in the sense it's possible is like, a one-off installation where you give everyone a sticker, they put it in the wall. But at the end of that installation in that museum, the whole thing gets torn down and destroyed. It's not really going to go anywhere. It's not going to live anywhere anymore. You might get a picture of it, but that's about it. But with Web3, that's different. We now have something that lives on forever and could infinitely be changed forever. It's going to be there. There's always going to be that history of it. So that's certainly changed. It's no longer, a touring piece in the museum you can only see once. This is now a living, breathing organism that anybody can contribute to. And it certainly makes it much more interesting when people not just interact with it, they have they had a hand in creating it. They take a bit more ownership on it. It's a bit more theirs because they did help influence it.
That's it. That connection. It's like, Steve, we've talked about the emotional connection we get to some of our JPEG bags, whether it's art that we were minted and it was a particular moment in time, or it's a PFP that we associate our digital identity to. Like, might I, if I'm involved in the creation of something, could I still sell it? Sure. But it's like, at least speaking for myself, it probably means more to me than another person because I was involved in the creation of, right? It taps into that emotional connection by this co-creation, this collaborative process. And it reminds me a lot of, like, especially the in real life component reminded me, I went back to like Cryptopians. Is that the name right? From last cycle, that where you could only minimum in, I think, Venice Beach, maybe New York, but you had to like go in person to mint your Cryptopian. Is it Cryptopian?
Bright moments.
Bright moments. Yes, that's exactly it. Yep. Yeah, just like if I mint an avatar of me in a bright moments while I'm on a trip somewhere, I didn't, by the way, but if I did, it's still sitting in my wallet. It's not something I'm gonna sell. It's just like that to me is like, as a collector, that stuff matters. And did this stuff exist previously? Yeah, we gave a couple examples of measuring the universe and infinity mirrors, but those people who participated, they can't take that home with them, right? They can participate, but they can't own it. They can't collect it. They can't hold it as a memory, other than like Steve and his wife got a picture of themselves there. This gets me excited when we talk about digital art and how bringing things on chain has the ability to enhance, to make things better. You don't have to reinvent the world. Like, you can build on top of experiences and how people have collected in the past, and just opens up so much more, right?
Mm-hmm. No, it is incredible, yeah, because it didn't exist, or certainly did not exist in this way. It did not exist in the way that, like, the end user or collector had like a true hand in it. Up until then, yes, you would maybe put a sticker on the wall, but you wouldn't get it again afterwards. Or maybe you purchased a piece, but it's kind of price is set by somebody else, it's kept somewhere else. You didn't have the true ownership you have now, like the transparent ownership you have now. So that's definitely a massive change.
For sure. Well, I guess, I don't want to jump too far ahead. Is there anything we didn't ask you yet about PulseWidth that you're hoping to share with with our listeners this morning?
I suppose I didn't actually explain kind of what it is in terms, other than being kind of like long form generative art.
Yeah, we'd love it.
Yeah, so what I did a bit different in this one, I've obviously used lots of algorithms and rule sets, but I had this idea this time of, rather than just having kind of an algorithm that runs and generates the output, even animates, I thought, well, what if I had kind of 2 layers of different algorithms and then blending them together? So I have a set of, well, around about 40 or 50 different algorithms, and they've got 2 layers of these algorithms, all with their own kind of random parameters. And then on top of that, I've got a blending mode, somewhat similar to like in Photoshop. You've got kind of like add, subtract, multiply, all these different ones. And that led to a near infinite amount of outputs. You'll see some similarities here and there, but the idea, it's a grid of 2 different algorithms being blended together to get this vast amount of outputs. And then on top of that, the actual like visual style, getting the name PulseWidth, came from this idea of pulse width modulation. Anyone who's into electronics will kind of know what this is. It is basically, it's how like LEDs dim, it's how some basic signals are sent. The idea being, within a certain amount of time, if you want to do a 50% signal, you have it 50% on, then 50% off. And then you'd repeat that, called the duty cycle. And that's basically what pulse width modulation is. It's kind of how like LEDs dim. If you want a bulb dimmed, it's not actually turning the brightness down, it's just turning on and off really fast, only 50% of the time. And so from that kind of initial like idea, I thought, I want to visualize in this some way. So I did, in a sense, what was a dithering algorithm. It's just drawing little bars. So if it's 50% brightness, the bars are 50% on and then 50% off. And I kind of stack them within the amount of duty cycle. So although the piece looks like it's grayscale, it's got different tones, it's actually not. It's all just one solid color. It just appears to look darker and brighter in certain sections because it is more on or more off. Now, the slight caveat to that is some of the outputs can have color, and they do have a slight gradient that kind of breaks away from that slightly. But I thought that was an interesting trait to add color, because generally a lot of my work I've kind of just stuck to monotone, but color is creeping its way in there. Color is always interesting. I like to leave it as a little trait. It's not always going to be there. Just sometimes it finds a way.
Yeah, it is fascinating, and like I love that you've had some big exhibitions. I guess just on a personal note, where's the coolest place where you've been exhibited to you, or what was there a moment when you were exhibited at one of the big places that you've been exhibited and said, I can't believe that I'm here or there. Like, what is it? What are sort of the grail spots for you? And what are the spots that have been like, pinch myself, I can't believe it?
Actually, there's been a few this year. It's been a mad year. So yeah, not to be too cliche, actually, New York with the Ape Chain was great because although, yeah, at the beginning of the year, I was in Christie's, and then a month or two ago, I was in Phillips in London. That was always, I say, the kind of the high-end art market where you're just a little face in the corner. But for the Ape Chain event, it was smaller, more intimate. Everyone is very friendly. No one's too pompous. Everyone's walk up and talk to you. It was just, yeah, a lot more a community vibe. It wasn't so cold in a sense.
Like that. I like the idea that you like enjoy, like, it's less like about the sort of, not maybe I'm projecting here, but less about the stuffy like art type world and more about the community gathering together and putting, and like, it almost feels like sometimes when you find a community that like loves what you do, the community celebrating and rallying around your art is more exciting than, you know, the art people like kind of like dissecting it or having commentary on it. So I do like that.
It's a lot more fun, a lot more just relaxed and chilled out. And actually, a lot of that came from a Staple Pigeon store. That is such a cool place. That was like they had the perfect vibe for any kind of like artistic showcase. It was amazing.
It was an interesting spot, right? Like I actually had the same takeaway where I was like, it feels kind of cool and hip, but also a little artsy, but not too stuffy. It was an interesting vibe that they had in that spot going on. And, you know, you got a Pog van out front and then you have art displayed in the back. And then you have, you know, high-end streetwear in there, but you also have ape water being served. It's kind of like this, like almost like walking juxtaposition, which I actually think in and of itself is kind of artistic in a way. So, you know, you obviously have this, like, what sort of social commentaries are you interested in or things you're interested in playing with in art around in the future? Like, what is on your mind? Or is it like, hey, I don't know until it strikes me?
It's tough. Yeah. In terms of like the visual artwork I create, a lot of that is just experimentation. And it's when something goes wrong, when there's a little like coding error or something goes a bit not quite the way expected, that's when there's something interesting. And that's kind of how I follow. Again, it is very hard to say, I want to create something that looks exactly like this or has exactly this emotion. I think the emotion kind of just finds its way through by the playfulness, the experience of it, or the experimentation, sorry, of it. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. I have a friend, my buddy Scott, does like, he has an algorithm that he uses to like, you can put in any profile picture or things and it creates this like sort of abstraction of pixel abstraction where it's like, it's pixelated and you can kind of be like, oh, I get what that is, but it's not like it's a pixelated version, but like it uses the colors to like splatter them. And there's an error that happens in some of them. So it's funny you say there's an error that happens in some of them where it like spits out a color that's not in the actual thing he puts in. He can't explain it. He can't figure out how it happens. And in his mind, he's like, I like that. That makes it more unique. It's like the art takes on an art of its own, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to embrace the errors and mistakes. If we did everything absolutely perfectly, it'd be boring. There'd be no interesting there.
Yeah, the Tyler Hobbs. I went to the Tyler Hobbs Pace Gallery in New York at one point, and it was a similar thing where he has a plotter he uses for some of his art, like that, you know, is a physical, and there's a digital companion that comes with it. And the more valuable ones are actually the ones that have like some slight errors on the plotter because that showed a unique personality versus making it more generic. And I find it, I'm sure it's different strokes for different folks, but I think that's an interesting perspective that it's almost like there's value in the cracks. I guess that's kind of why you're an artist. It's the true artist mentality, right?
Yeah, it's again, it's the authenticity of the human nature. Everything's too perfect. That just something doesn't sit right with that as human beings because we're a little bit flawed ourselves.
That's awesome. I love the perspective. Yeah, it's a great perspective that like it's almost like art being a commentary on humanity, especially as AI becomes more of a thing. It's like, you know, we talk about even writing, like I'll have typos in my writing, and I'm like back, you know, even 3-4 years ago, I was like, oh no, a typo in my writing, and now people are like, no, now we know you're a human, and not just like pumping it into an LLM and having it write it out. So I think there's probably some value there. Cap, I don't know. Do you have any other questions before we let Owen get out? This is like, I love these sorts of conversations. I get to talk to artists regularly with some of the OCM stuff I do. I love these conversations. Like it gives me faith in humanity and like faith in digital art, particularly when you hear real artists thinking about this thing and not somebody who's thinking, how can I max mint a open edition and just take the money out? But Cap, any other questions or thoughts?
Yeah, second that. It's just, this is not the opposite of low effort. I'm going to throw something on chain and take advantage of the hype, but actually being thoughtful, doing new things, experimenting on chain, I think is another big, takeaway I got from this morning's conversation, and what blockchain tech can unlock in terms of the kind of art you can create and who you can create that art with. So that would be my question, Owen. What's next? Is there anything you could share about like what might we have to look forward to for Motus Art down the road? Do you plan to drop more collections on Ape Chain? And not trying to put you in a corner here or try any alpha out of you. Just curious, like what are you looking forward to over the next year or two?
Yeah, well, actually, I haven't seen the response from the community. Yeah, I think got to drop something else in Ape Chain. Not entirely sure what yet. Actually going to take a bit of time off during the summer. I kind of just relax, reset, kind of pick up again, start in the kind of end of August, September. Lots of work in progress that I kind of always have to go back through at the end of the summer and just kind of see what could work, what's interesting. So yeah, a bit unknown, but definitely if I can get some time to explore a bit more about how the kind of like Ape Chain ecosystem works, because I think there's definitely a lot in there that has not been explored yet. It's a little bit hard to kind of research. I just need a bit of time to sit down and figure out how does all this work. And again, yeah, maybe making some kind of evolving, moving piece that everyone has a hand in creating. Like there's been some projects with that, but yeah, certainly something would be interesting to spend some time investigating.
Awesome. Well, enjoy the summer. Go ahead, Steve.
No, I was gonna say the same thing. Like, love that. Enjoy the summer. Enjoy the much deserved time off. Love that you're this excited to build, particularly on Ape Chain. It is our sort of home base, so we appreciate that. And thanks for joining us this morning and giving us some breath of fresh air in a day where, not in a day where, but in a space where we often are talking about like what's the next runner and what's the next coin, which is that's perfectly fine. We all play those games, but it's good to hear sort of the artistic point of view as well. So thanks for coming through this morning.
Cool. Thanks a lot for having me. It's been great.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for joining. Cap, one of the things I love about this and love about this like conversation in general is I love that. I enjoy that. Like, so we've seen F1 on Ape Chain and we have them working with Complex in some way, and Fresh Kicks is doing some things. And now we talk about the art. It's like expanding beyond. I love the PFP communities. Don't get me wrong. I love myself a good PFP. I like having more stuff, more things, more builds, more. And so I think this is the type of stuff we need to see more and more of on places like Ape Chain and other chains, is that showing there's more robust build outs like what Motus Art is doing, like what, the staple pigeon activation where they're authenticating the shirt that I got in, which by the way, first streetwear shirt I've worn that people complimented. They're like, hey, that looks good. I'm like, really?
I don't think we haven't talked about this on the show. I knew there was some stuff there, but I wasn't aware you actually got a connected shirt. Can you expand on that, or you got a picture by chance?
I should find it. It is I think I tweeted about it, but I don't, but I don't know if I showed the actual shirt. So it was actually kind of cool. They had a shirt, and with the shirt, you got a free hat, and you were able to take the hats where you can customize with certain Ape Chain related patches, so you can make them sort of your own. And then the shirts themselves, you could customize with the varying types of decals. So I'll see if I can find the one I put. It was a couple weeks ago, so it might take me a minute to scroll back because I am a regular tweeter. But I'll see if I can find it. But yeah, it was cool. It was a connected shirt. You tagged it. You got you could authenticate it on Ape Chain, which I did. Sort of show that ownership of it. I know it was somewhere. I'm kind of stalling while I look. But yeah, there was a connected shirt that was pretty cool when I was out in New York. So keep scrolling back. Oh, I just saw a clip we had from Pawns. There he is. There's the shirt. So I'm not sure which patches I used, but here is so here is sort of the connected part. So I connected and authenticated it with a company I actually wrote about in the book that was part of the authentication. But it was this shirt right here. So you can see like the front's just like a staple pigeon and I put a couple of patches on the sleeves. It says Ape Chain or Ape in pigeon on the back. And then in the front, and then I was able to put certain sleeves on the side. And then there's an NFC chip that you tag, get the authentication of 21 Mercer Street where it was from. It was cool. It was like a cool, and it was actually a shirt that like, I don't buy as much merch anymore because transparently as a 42-year-old man, I don't really rock like the the big sleeves that make me look like I'm swimming in clothes, they look really cool on Thread Guy and whatnot. They look really, like Rasmer and all those. Like they can rock them. I look dumb. I look like I'm wearing clothes that don't fit. It just doesn't work for me. I get it's a style. It just never looks good on me. This one worked, and it was sort of that same style, but it felt good. It felt less boxy, and I got some compliments on it. So, fan of that as well. Definitely good one. So, I don't know, Cap. Let's do this. I need to re-up some coffee because I actually started a new routine this morning that is not super early, but Dawn and I are getting up and walking the dogs now regularly in the morning, whereas we used to just kind of take them out to go to the bathroom and rush through our morning. So it's like a good way to start the day, walk the dog, get some fresh air. But I need more coffee. So I'm thinking daily market update, and that'll let me sneak out and I'll listen to it on my mobile while I get it.
The daily market update straight to your brain. Powered by ApeCoin, no hype, just gains. Moving on 8chain, we bringing the heat. NFT spends alpha, never miss a beat. 8chain on top, now we bringing the flex. The home of NFTs, things now what's next.
Come on, my head top, but you want the time to chop for one time.
It is time for the Daily Market Update powered by 8chain, the home of NFTs. 8chain has it all, bringing culture, fun, and community to blockchain. Dive in and see why 8chain is on top. By the way, if people would know, I've got so many tabs open that I'm using during the show, whether it's checking various things. I almost always end up starting this live read, forgetting I'm doing it. And I start with it's time for the Daily Market Update powered by 8chain, the home of NFTs, as I relentlessly scramble for it. You wouldn't know, but most of the time I'm barely landing the plane and getting that done. But Cap, I'll hand it to you. I'm going to listen on mobile while I re-up my coffee. I will be back in just a couple minutes here.
Nope, you got it. It's a pretty exciting market update today as we've got Bitcoin all-time high, may have pulled back a little bit, but just absolutely ripping. We're going to start with NFTs, actually, led by everyone's favorite penguin. The Pudgies are up 21% in the last 24 hours off of 48 sales, 714 ETH in volume, just mooning. It's been a moment since we've seen a NFT collection with size move like this. That said, not to take anything away from the pump, I do respect the pump. I respect all pumps. There's a lot of, it also tells me how we're back into momentum trading, because a lot of this activity is loan leverage. It's blend loans. So if you're going to trade like this, just keep eyes on it. Don't overextend yourself. And let's do our best collectively to avoid cascading liquidations this cycle. But nevertheless, up bigly, 21%, leading the way. Little Pudgies at 135, showing flat on the day, but a realized pump from over the weekend. Apes holding strong at 11.48. A little. I mean, they were down to last week. We were saying the apes were going single digits, so a big pump just outdone by the Pudgy mania. Mutants flat at 1.81, also up a little bit from over the weekend as well, though. Doodles, Steve marked the bottom. I don't know if he's back, can still hear this or not, but all the Doodles holders, thank you for your
down horrendously. Sold. I'm on mobile getting my coffee, but absolutely sold the bottom of Doodles, which is just a classic move for me. If I had just waited a few days, I would be up a lot more. So especially with ETH up. So incredibly dumb move by me. What else is new?
It happens to the best of us, but Doodles are up 18% on the day, second only to that Pudgy pump. I didn't look. I assume that's just straight spot buys, but maybe they are, it's got to be spot buys because the volume matches the sales almost approximately. So most of that looks like spot buys on Doodles. DX Terminal tells me we've got an OpenSea farm voyage live, although I don't see the beloved. What's the one thing I usually buy? I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. The other farm. Not that
Larva Lads or whatever.
Yeah. Not seeing Larva Lads popping today. That's usually DX Terminal. Larva Lads or the OpenSea Voyage. I don't know why. I'm surprised we haven't seen more try to become that thing. And probably easier said than done, but I'm guessing DX Terminal and Larva Labs are printing on royalties over the last few weeks as they become the preferred farm of choice for the $5, $10 NFT over there. CryptoPunks up 10% to 45 ETH. These green numbers are also insanely impressive because ETH has ripped from 2,500 to 3K. So when you're seeing Whale said it, NFTs are a levered bet on ETH. Yes, and they can go the opposite direction with force as well. So just if you that hurt me last cycle. My thesis of NFTs on or a lever bet on ETH, they are, but leverage goes both directions. Just keep that in mind when you are rotating from ETH into NFTs. But yeah, up big as ETH rips is very exciting. Pepin up 4% to 2.24. Moonbirds, actually, I take it back earlier. It's not Pudgy Penguins leading the way. It's the other, this one, the non-flightless, the birds that actually fly. Moonbirds up to 0.75 ETH, 22% on the day. Azuki back over 2 ETH, 13%. I got to check because I don't remember the dollar or the ETH amount, but last week, Mutants, Azuki, and Capybaras were all the same price. Do you remember what the price was, Steve?
1.6. 1.6.
I
think these are down to like 1.2. I think Yappy Bars are down to like 1.2. I think Azuki was up to like 1.75. By the way, I have a disease if I get these correct. Because I do know that like I was kind of keeping an eye on it after this. So I'm going to see if I can go to the NFT floor. NFT floor price.com is actually still reliable as fuck. Let's see. So Mutants are now 1.82. Azuki are 2.09. So it's way off on Azuki. They have ripped. I think Yappy Baras, though. I think Yappy Bara, Kaido Genesis are down, I want to say. 1 point.
I thought they're. Is it Yappy Bara? I'm looking for Capybara. How do you spell it?
Yappy Bara. Y-A-P-Y. And so they're at 1.4. So they're 1.4. Azuki over almost at 2.1 and Mutants at 1.82. So the bet would have been Azuki followed by Mutants followed by Yappy Baras, which I believe was the poll went Mutants first, but Yappy Baras were last significantly. I think people are. I know we're gonna get. You got to finish daily market update. I think people are getting less excited about Kaido and the airdrop. Like maybe it's just a feel thing, and maybe I'm projecting. I am less excited about the Kaido airdrops unless they're doing another like full-on airdrop than I have been in a while. Like there's been 2 airdrops now that even though I have a relatively significant amount stake Kaido, I could have put it in Rect and have a better return, and I don't feel great about it. So anyway, continue on the daily market update, but I think we should probably hit on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's valid. There's going to be, as the space runs and things go full risk on, there's not everything moves at the same speed. And maybe you're right. I'm actually leaning the other side, that thinking it might just be early. They just haven't had their turn at this very moment. And I think as like last week, I said Capybara was my favorite. It's still of those 3 because I hold a Mutant. Would still be my preferred choice. And now I get it at a discount. So I am probably still not making a move. Although I may, if they're on blend, I may blend loan in my way into a Capybara today. We'll see. Back to the daily market update though. Sorry for the detours there. Doge up 3% of the day to 0.2. Sheeb up 3% to 0.04. Pepe up 1%. Bonk up 8%. Trump up 1%. Pingu up 1%. But the key thing to point out here is the volume. It's showing 1.47 billion in volume, which would put it still behind Pepe and in Doge. I heard someone else saying that its volume eclipsed Pepe on a 24 hours and was second only to Doge. So the volume is insanely impressive. And as we talked about earlier, just on an absolute ripper.
So at a 1.7 bill market cap on Pengu, because I think Pengu's interesting. Mm-hmm. One, I mean, obviously Rec doesn't have the Penguin sauce, so we're not going to say it's going to go there necessarily because that would be a 10x for Rec. But on Pengu,
I think it's possible. I'm not going to say it's going there, but it's in my target range for sure.
So with Pengu, what do you think the bull case? Pretend you're being wacky. And then you be realistic. At wacky and realistic, what do you think the market cap bull case is for Pengu? Because like not too long ago when it was like 300 mil, we were like, is this thing just going to keep going down? It hasn't done anything. And like, I actually tweeted about it. It wasn't FUD. It was just like, I thought this was going to go crazy. Now it's up to 1.7 bill from 300 mil. I haven't really sold a ton of that as time's gone on. What do you think the crazy bull case or the realistic cases? It's like 5, like we talked about 5 bill being a crazy bull case at one point. Do you think that's realistic now?
Yeah, I think that's in the realistic range. I mean, I don't see any reason why I couldn't run up to Pepe. I think the crazy bull case would be the GCR prophecy becomes true and it runs up to Doge. I mean, that would be 15x from here. That's the crazy, hairy, audacious. I don't think it's going to do that, but over a long enough timeline, if they continue to do the trajectory they're doing, I think part of it's I'll reevaluate when they actually drop the other brand coin components. What does that look like, right? And we've talked about, we showed the tokenomics. They have a massive marketing budget that continues to grow as this, as the market cap goes up, just like Rect has $50 million they can throw at marketing and customer acquisition this year. So can Pudgy. Doge never did that. Doge was a pure meme, and it's all on community and speculation, and no one driving it, right? I mean, I think if all things are equal, I think things like Pingu has an advantage over something like Doge and Sheeb. Like, if you told me I had to buy one today and I had to hold it for the next 5 years and they were the exact same price between Shiba Inu and Pudgy or Pingu, I'm taking Pingu. So to me, it's like, is Sheeb overpriced because it's older, because it's been around, because it has more holders and a higher market cap, or is Pingu underpriced? Because and I know you can't look at fundamentals when you're looking at meme coins, but there's a lot more motion with Pingu than there is with Sheeb or Doge, no?
That's what's interesting to me is, like, I know that they have scale and interest in things, and so I understand that case for it. What throws me off is, like,
look at the volume. It's like, here's to prove my point. In the last 24 hours, Sheeb has done 300 million in volume. Pingu has done 6x that. Like, if that continues, they're mispriced. One of them's mispriced.
And, like, it's also like there's actual, like, interest, I guess, in this, right? Like, there's actual interest in, like, Pengu from, like, there's interest in Pengu from the the institution side, like Van Eck and things. It's getting all these brands that are flipping to the Penguin picture, talking about Pengu. They have a real brand. And I'm sorry, like, this is just going to be me being such a boomer. Pepe got co-opted by some bad people. Yep. And I'm not saying, like, look, it's gotten through that. That wasn't what it was originally about, but it did. It did. Objectively, whether you like it or not, it did. Sheeb is cute. Pudgy's cute. Like, it's like, you see that and you're like,
I don't see any Shiba Inu gifts on my timeline. I don't see any Doge gifts on my timeline. Every Pingu gif I'm seeing now has a Pingu trade watermark on it. Like, it's just like, for everything I know about branding and awareness and marketing, like, Pingu, because it's newer, it's fresh, they actually have a vision and a strategy. It's not just them, it's Rect. It's you feel all these newer. See, I think these are, whether it's brand coins or utility coin masquerading as a meme, have far more upside than just a pure meme, because it's beyond just the hyper financialized degen speculators. When you have utility and use case and a narrative, it can attract people outside of the hyper speculated degen gamblers. Like, it can be attractive to TradFi people. It can be like, I think if the ETF gets approved, it goes live, and if it's a hit, we're going to see a lot of others go that route, right? Like, it's not going to be the last meme / brand coin ETF. And if that's a hit, and there's like, look what the ETFs have done as far as institutional demand for Bitcoin and ETH. I know we're way down the risk curve here, but I can see a world where there is demand there, and it's a supply demand problem. Like, if you start seeing big money flow into this stuff, then all the hyper degen speculators here are like, wow, should I keep putting my Sheeb where it's just not getting this sort of motion outside of degens, or should I rotate that into something that I can see a path or a vision to a brighter future?
Well, that's it. It's like there's two sets of thoughts here. One is, there is a community. By the way, yes, be epic. I am talking about Pepe was kind of co-opted by the alt-right for a period of time because it said bad people, you mean the racist tropes. Yeah, like that happened with Pepe. Sheeb and Pepe and Doge have.
I was thinking you were talking like later than that, more so like some of the nefarious actors in crypto were early endorsers of it.
Sure, and like it has some crypto ties, like rare Pepe cards and things, so it does have some of that. But like Pepe the Frog was co-opted by the alt-right for a period of time, and when you have Doge, Sheeb, and Pepe, there are people who are in those communities, people who believe in them for the meme. But on the flip side, there's also people like who buy Doge because they see it as an asset that is like money that goes up or whatever. It's like, I don't know. Like, do those people, I don't know if you might want to keep sharing, Cap, but you're showing all your allos. Like, I guess I look at it and I'm like, if you're there and you're a trader and you're doing it to make money, why wouldn't you want to get in something that seems like why wouldn't there be rotation there if it has the momentum and the attention? And like, maybe it's like you said, it's far in the risk curve, non-financial advice because it's a risky thing and it could rip right back down to 300 mil. But like, if you see this thing at 1.7 bill and it's a meme coin and it's the meme coin du jour of the cycle, it has a shot, man. It has a shot, right? Like where I think some of these other ones, the Whiffs, the Mogs, the other ones, like they have communities built around them. They have people who believe in them. I said like a while ago, like Pengu could be the meme coin of the NFT community. And not just NFT community, but beyond that, because it's got like more appeal than that. But at least everybody might be able to rally behind that to be like, this meme coin has a lot of sauce to it. And I don't want to like downplay it when I say like NFT community, like the PFP community, but like it's got like the vibe, it's got that base level. Like, so I guess, I don't know, I could see it being like, as people see it, they're like, oh yeah, penguins are cute. So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. And back to my point of like more than just a meme. Like XRP is not a meme, but it's essentially, I think, feels like a meme. But they have underlying fundamentals. It's got things that people can get excited to talk about. I had to show it. It wasn't on our Monochart update, but it broke $3, so I had to share it for my mom's bags today. Just on an absolute ripper. And to your point of like community and diehards, like it's compounded over time, over many cycles. The new ones don't have that yet. So that's where the Sheebs and the Doge of the world have a big advantage because it's got history. It's got time on their side. Why can't those of this cycle continue on, do something similar, albeit with a lot more firepower behind them? And maybe bringing XRP into the conversation isn't the best comparison because they do, there is stuff there, but yeah, I think back to my earlier statement, I think there very well could be spots this cycle where you can find your 100x, you can find your 1000x. Probably not off these, but if that, forget the crazy example, Pengu flips Pepe. If they're sellers, they're probably keeping some, maybe not all, but they're probably keeping some of that in the ecosystem, right? Like, I think anyone who's selling winners from Bitcoin all the way down to, let's say, Rect right now, and everything in between. I think anyone selling those winners during the cycle, you should stable up some. You should make sure you're covering any tax obligation. You should take profits. But knowing myself, knowing us here, if I'm taking anything off the table right now, I'm certainly not going to stables. I'm rotating it into something else. And so I think that's the flywheel that we haven't necessarily seen yet, is just liquidity injection after liquidity injection. In fact, it's probably been the opposite so far, from the 700 million that the Pump Fund founders have taken out just off revenue to the 600 million they just sold tokens on over the weekend. Like over $1 billion that just went to Pump Fund that's not come back into the ecosystem. We should hit on that a little bit before we wrap up, by the way, because I wasn't expecting a big airdrop, but it sounds like I might be getting as big of airdrop as some people who are trading crazy volume. They capped the community airdrop at 2K per, and I think some people were thinking that might have been their generational wealth opportunity this cycle, and that's not happening. I mean, maybe the coin moons and they do fine, but as far as free money, capped at 2K, which
was that for creators as well, or just for the people who trade?
Does anyone know? I read it. It was the range was 100 to 2,000 worth, regardless, across all their programs.
For anybody, right? Yeah. Wacky. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not, as a non-pump guy, it's not my bag. But like, be awesome to see you get that. But yeah, I didn't see it. But yeah, we'll wrap daily market update and then we'll hit on. We didn't even hit on pump presale, which is crazy.
Rune's seeing some movement as well. 10 to 17% up on Pups, Magic, and Billy. Not our favorite Billy, the other one. And then back to majors here. There's our XRP looking like it just dipped below $3, but still up 6% on the day. ETH holding 3,044 on the day, up 2%. Bitcoin 121,516. I just let me finish. Solana 166, 3% on the day. Doge up 2% on the day, and Cardano up 2%. It's on quite a run as well. It's easy to like poke jabs at Cardano, but continues to perform. I last thing, and then we'll wrap market update. This is the range I got really excited about. We just needed to get distance from 100K. I think we've entered it, maybe not quite there yet. I'm actually going to tune into, or at least try to catch some clips of mainstream media today, because I want to know what they're doing, how they're talking about Bitcoin, right? Because when it hit 100K and chopped around 100K, it's easy subconsciously, I think, for those that aren't stacking to, oh, I was late. Everyone said Bitcoin to 100K. It's now to 100K. Now I'm late. At 120, 125, 130, it's like, wow, I wasn't late at 100K. Had I bought it at 100K, I'd be up 30% right now. I'd be up 20% right now. Be up 21% today. Those crazy lunatics that said Bitcoin was going to 100K when it was 5K are now saying Bitcoin's going to 1 million. What if they're right? I'm early. And I think that subconscious or conscious mindset shift from the public, whether it's your Uncle Sally or your Aunt Sally, or uncle, I guess, to each their own, no judgment.
2025, yeah.
I tried to do I was going to make a Steve's aunt bicycle joke, but I'm not. Steve's the other, not the bicycle. I was going to use the other route, but I'm just gonna let that go.
Gotcha.
Anyways, I think we could be getting into like a serious, like real rip face melting type movement a day, or it just keeps doing what it's doing. But maybe the thesis is wrong. I think we could be entering a like real price discovery, and things could get really silly soon. So that's our daily market update, brought to you by ApeChain. ApeChain on top, the home of NFTs, like Pulse Width from Motus Art we heard from this morning. I put in a live bid on the show today. Hope to pick up one of those.
Yeah, it's funny. I thought about Bitcoin, and I saw like it was a really good tweet from ICO Beast where he just said like 0.12 million, 0.12 million seems awful low for Bitcoin, doesn't it?
It does.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe start referring to it that too. I saw the first 100 million impression. It now flipped to 1 billion on the post about, tell us about, lore about yourself.
That's an old post, by the way. I answered that post like a year and a half ago.
Yeah. And I wonder what gave it second life. The other thing, last thought on this is, this was from in the chat, this is a pure rumor. So this probably is not true. Like, I doubt MicroStrategy is going to start buying Pingu. I don't think this is probably just, extreme speculation and starting a rumor based off a picture. What I do believe to be true, though, is we are going to see more of this. Someone, I think just this morning, Strategy Whiff was launched. Basically the MicroStrategy version, but instead of buying Bitcoin, they're buying Whiff. You saw, let me see if I can go find Yat. I don't know if it was Yat's account. It was Yat, right?
The strategic, yeah. But while you look that up, I'm going to answer a question in the chat, by the way. Be Epic saying, here you get more XP for holding Pangu on AGW. I have all my Pangu on my AGW, actually. I did move it all over there. If you're going to do it, make sure you use Relay. I used to have to use this whole Stargate Finance thing, which was like kind of like, stressful. Now you can use Relay. If you use Relay, make sure you actually convert, Sol to abstract, and make sure your abstract global wallet is the receiving address. You need to be very thoughtful about that if you're transferring things over the bridge to abstract. I would always do a test. So do a test of like 69 Pangu, using your abstract global wallet as the receiving wallet, using your Phantom or whatever Sol wallet you have as the sending wallet. Test it. Use relay.link. Make sure you have the right receiving, right sending. Test it with 6.9 or whatever it is, Pangu. Make sure it goes over in your abstract global wallet. When that works, repeat the process. I just want to say that because I see people talking about it in the chat, and I don't want people to lose their, cash that's been ripping and running if they do it wrong. But yeah, this Yat tweet, I did see this.
We're going to see more of this. I'll go pull up the Whiff strategy one next, but I think this could be another. So between meme ETFs, brand coin ETFs, between strategic reserves, like there could be some real flywheels that get started on a few of these. It's not gonna be all, most won't work, but some could really hit the sweet spot. Real quick, because you called it out earlier, I'm not listing anything, I'm not selling anything right now, but if anyone wants to buy this, if I get back up, if anyone wants to buy this punketh.io in my hot wallet for $25K, it's yours. Make an offer, I will run to the bank. Anyone that wants it, it's yours. I gladly accept. You know what?
You got airdrop some fake thing with a fake offer.
Coffee with Captain Special. I'll let it fly for half off today. So if anyone wants it, I'll let it fly for $12,500. Look, it's going up as I talk. Like, you can't make this up. Back to you, Steve.
Yeah, it's funny. It's yeah, man, it's crazy times, and yeah, I'm kind of curious. I'm glad we had the conversation today related to all the different like opportunity things, because I do feel like, to a point, I am like feeling like I'm missing I am missing like some like upside from last cycle into this cycle. But maybe you're right. Maybe there'll be brand coins, maybe it's things, maybe we're just really early to like Rect and Pengu and we just don't know how early we are. I just don't know. But I've been thinking a lot about like what my strategy is with where I'm putting money in things. Because again, to your point, like I don't think these TGEs are going to be it. I think they're going to provide something, but like what I do with those TGEs will probably matter.
Yeah, I agree. Appreciate Threads of Information gives us an update on what drove that Moonbirds pump. A wallet with $1.1 million. Spent 12% of that on sweeping 47 Moonbirds last night. That's what sent the floor, and saying they have enough USD to put Moonbirds over the moon. Data right on the right with volume and sales green, showing the market like the Spencer took over with Orange Cap Games. I agree. Fan of Spencer. We had him on the show if you missed it. Good time to plug our podcast. You can go find it there. Click through the DGen account and the link tree. You can find all of our episodes of Coffee with Captain. Those recordings usually hit in the early afternoon after following each day's show. And while we're at it, if you haven't given us that 5-star review over there, or one of the two this morning, that or the YouTube like and subscribe would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
I got maybe two other things to hit on, and then I'll let you wind us out unless you got anything else.
No, go ahead.
One, I pinned these up top. Let me pull so I can share as I'm talking through it. Actually, I'll just talk through it. The pinned up top, I'll go in order from left to right. One, Rock from Rock Soul Ape Fest going to be a problem, referencing the Uno officially being introduced as table games in Las Vegas.
I saw that. That's exciting. I'm totally in for that. It's a great gamble. It's a great gamble opportunity.
I don't know how they do it. I'm curious, but yeah, I thought you might be excited about that.
It's pretty simple. Buy in, like it's simple. Like you basically have like relatively quick games. You have people buying the same way they buy poker. They take a rake from your buy-in. So it's like if you buy in for $100, they take $10 from every single person to make their money. They run it. And then, because I don't think it's a cash game, it's just going to be quick tournament games. So I'm in.
So like a hold'em tournament, but it's just Uno instead. You buy in for 10 or $100, and then
the speed. I mean, my kids and I play Uno with like the four of us. We can play a game, and it's like 5 minutes or less, 10 minutes or less. Imagine if they're taking like $100 games of Uno, $50 games of Uno, $20 games of Uno with the small rake, and you're just running it over and over again, and there's placing, and it's like. I don't know. The one thing about Uno that's kind of tricky is you can I guess you could do this in poker things, but you could potentially team a little bit where I'm not going to use the draw two. We're going to team up on this person. We're both going to get top spots. So I'll be curious how they combat that. But yeah, anyway, go ahead.
No, I mean, Vegas, looking forward to it. See, keep with the Vegas theme. I think we hit on it briefly, but I pinned one's post up top, Ape Chain and Complex Con. The reason I wanted to hit on that is, if you're planning on going to Ape Fest, if you'd like to get to Complex Con, that free Ape Premier ticket, which gets you cutting the line at Complex Con, which is a few $100 ticket. So Ape Fest will be on Friday, Complex Con Saturday, Sunday. The Ape Fest ticket claim is today at noon. Want to make sure you got your token proofs linked up and you got everything delegated and proper. From noon to 12:15, Ape holders can claim. From 12:15 on, mutant holders can claim. I believe, I should know this, but I believe it's a deposit for both you and you can buy your +1s. Is that correct, Steve?
I think so. I think that's the case. I'm probably just going to do me. I'm probably not going to +1 it, although I may +1 just in case and just eat it. Like that's what I usually do if I have to, because just to be safe, in case Dawn somehow is able to get off or something.
There's the much more detailed explanation of everything I just gave you is in the board network post up top. Ape Fest 2025, what you need to know. Then to the right of that, I caught this looking for another post. I don't think there's been anything announced, but I have a Chimpers post pinned up there. It just says the journey has begun. We must unlock Chimpy's final form to discover what comes next. A new chapter for Chimpers is unfolding, and you can help share it. Secure your spot on the blind box waitlist at chimpers.shop.
Blind Box working with Ape Chain, actually. So, yeah, it's a...
Okay, so it is shared, because then that's why I shared it. It was retweeted by Ape Chain. Then in the first comment, it says, plot twist, your plush comes with loot, and, followed by the eyes and this emoji from Chimpers. So yeah, definitely a Chimpers Ape Chain collaboration coming up there. Excited to hear more. That's on my list today. And then ticket claim link up there. And last but not least, Ian put up a how to farm hyper EVM. I'm going to hit on that because a few other, if you keep scrolling to the right, you'll see Lambo's Land. Is this an announcement of the announcement? Project X is launching on Hype. Might have just went live, I think at 10 o'clock. I have no idea what it is. But that's my first thing I'm heading to when I get off here is trying to get some exposure to whatever it is. I don't know. It's going to be a small bet I make today.
Yeah, I am
founder of Pac Moon, and just has the ability to capture attention.
Yeah. I'm probably missing that one because I'm just starting to get my hype journey started, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, but excited to do that. So I'm going to use Ian's post as well. So no, it's look at me, exciting times. Excited to get my Ape Fest tickets today. We'll be doing that. I already have my flight and hotel booked. I'm staying in the Ape Hotel. Highly recommend that if you are able to. Not only are there going to be a lot of ape people there, like a lot of apes, but you're going to be able to, get access to a really good hotel. Asif does a great job with that. So,
sure.
It's he did the Paris one, which was awesome, that we really enjoyed. It was a great boutique that he found. I mean, Asif got us into like a highly rated restaurant on a Friday night of Valentine's Day in Paris. Like he's got pull, man. He knows what he's doing. So, gonna do that. Shout out Ape Concierge, and excited to go in and do another Ape Fest. Ape Fest always reinvigorates my feelings about the club. Not that it's waning, but like it's always good to get together with the people and re-energize yourself. So excited for that. But
the Project X is not live yet, so keeping on that. We've got potentially some inside alpha here. I hope I'm
if there's any question, I wouldn't. Unless it's like public.
Looks like they were set for 10, but had to delay. Someone attempted to front run them on something. I'm not sure what, but not yet. So stay tuned. I'm sure you'll be seeing some of it on the timeline today. Again, I really have no idea what it is, but it's maybe that's where I stumble into this generational wealth that Steve says we're looking for this cycle. I think there's another kinetic. I don't know what that is, but that's also launching on Hyper EVM this week. And it's going to be a busy week. There's a lot going on. I'll have I need to get back into like checklist. Here's what's on my agenda today. Like, here's my schedule today. It's like, takes me back to why we started Coffee with Captain back in 2021 was, what did I miss last night? What do I need to keep my eyes on today? And this really is now finally entering territory where I feel like if I'm not paying attention, I'm going to miss something. I haven't felt that for a long time. I didn't feel that throughout the whole bear. I mean, sure, but it was
there were stints where it happened, but not like, it doesn't feel like this is a stint. It feels like this is legit.
The only thing I felt like I missed up until now was I was asleep when the Trump thing dropped. And by the time I woke up, it was billions and billions of dollars. But as far as like, I know there's things scheduled that are happening this week, and like they've been enough spread out. There's been enough time and awareness. Now I feel like the amount of things coming to market, I think is accelerating, and because of the market, the potential for them to really rip from the jump, I think is much more so than we've seen for a minute. So just getting back, like I said, getting my mobile trading setup live again, and just head on a swivel. I think it's a really exciting time right now, and I don't know exactly what's next, but I think now's the time to be paying attention and taking some shots. Just do that shots with when you can afford to lose, because a lot of them won't work. But I think we're going to find a few winners here before the year's out.
Yeah, I'm in a similar mindset where it's like, hey, I'm gonna look for some shots to take, and I probably same sort of mentality with you, where I'm thinking about thinking about being a little bit more active. Like, and actually now you have ChatGPT for checklists, by the way, which is super helpful. Like, I literally talk to my chat. I've been getting my most organized is when I talk to ChatGPT the night before and be like, these are the things I need to do tomorrow. So like, wake up and do this. Here's my time to do this. Coffee with Captain at this time. Prep at this time. After that, I'm doing this. Here's what I'm eating. Here's what I'm stretching. Here's what I'm, whatever. So I think, just a thought, but like using ChatGPT or some sort of AI to help you organize yourself is super helpful, because then you can check off your list and make sure you don't miss anything. So, and it blocks time for you, right? So it's like it gives you can take the exact time and tell it when to do it. So it's good stuff. Put your meetings on there and whatnot. So, and I actually have it. Like, I'll do it for the week sometimes on Sunday if I have things I need to do over the week, and it'll just schedule it out for me at various times to give me some built-in breaks and things. So,
Ape Fest is in Vegas. Tickets are at noon today. Someone mentioned turn off VPN. I don't know for sure. I'm guessing you're referring to the Ape Fest ticket claim. Let me look. I have VPN on right now, and I just checked my token proof to verify delegation was all set and it's good. So a good call. Maybe flip that stuff off for claims to be safe. Does the big beautiful bill like I don't know how they'll treat that, but Phonics in the chat excited as well, because as you described it, it's PvP, right? And there's you're not playing the house, you're playing other players at the table, right? Like, is there a way you could think Uno would be at a house game?
No, that's where I'm checking my allocation right now, by the way. My wallet, except let's see.
Okay. And Mackie, share that Kinetic I mentioned coming this week. It's basically Lido, but for hype.
Oh, shit. Nothing. It says Ape Fest requirements not met on my wallet that has my ape in it. So awesome. All right. Well, I gotta figure that out. But no, it definitely is maybe let's see if it's on a delegated wallet. See this? Oh no. All right. Well, maybe I'm gonna have to. What's up?
Use token proof?
Yeah, so I have token proof, regenerate QR code, scan, ready to scan.
And make sure you click your correct wallet that the ape's in.
I have tried every wallet. My wallet that is sitting with my ape in it, and requirements not met. So I need to check this out. I'll send a DM to PP Man or something and see what happens, but not great for me.
But yeah, Mackie Fun Expo shared this. Appreciate the update. It's liquid staking, DeFi play. Should be good. Team is sharp. I think Word Out of Capital is involved in that one, but liquid staking. Basically, you can stake and you don't have to wait for the 7-day cooldown period. It's could be a winner. So
yeah. Cool. All right. Well, look, let's set everybody off because I need to troubleshoot Ape Fest, and I have about an hour and a half to do so, or else I'm not going to get those early tickets, even though my ape is in my wallet. I don't know why my token proof does this, man. Like I like
some other challenges as well. So I don't know. I like you said, reach out to people, man, and I'm sure they will get it. Hopefully get it solved for you. But
yeah, I like token proof, like Fonz, the whole team, but like this has happened before, and it's just like how, like it looks into my wallet, it's got my wallet connected. I don't get it. So we'll try to figure it out. But in any case, yeah, let's let everyone stay open the day because I got to figure this thing out. Appreciate everyone. Go ahead.
I just say carousel's pinned up all the way to the left. As if you hadn't hit that yet today, go hit the reminders for the rest of the week. It's gonna be a fun week, so don't miss it. If you missed your first part of the show, you can catch the recording via the podcast later today. And as Steve's winding, as we play us out here, those carousel reminders and the whether it's the podcast route or YouTube, any new subscribers greatly appreciate it.
Yep. Let's send everybody off in the day. Thanks to everyone who came through this morning. We will talk to everybody bright and early tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody.
Thanks for tuning into Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin. We hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, nothing we discussed today is financial advice. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to the future.